My bad, family. Sorry about that. Yeah, man, that's the internet company, man. They gotta do something, man. This shit out. It's bad Monday. We gonna make it better though. Boom. What's going on, CC? How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good to
Hi,
see you,
Prego.
CC.
Good morning, Rich Rising family. Let me
Rich
see.
Rising, Rich Rising.
What's up, Porties?
What's going on, brother? Man, I just found it kind of funny because I remember trying to come up with the show that was gonna be talked about today, man. And I was talking about how I wanted to talk about G side and some other things, and you was like, brother, it's Monday.
It's Monday, man.
Man, and I took that to heart and ran with it. You right. Let me chill, man.
What's up, Ish?
What's going on, Ish?
Good
Hi, Ish.
morning. How are you guys?
Good,
Just slow,
good.
just slow motion, slow motion. How you doing today?
I'm good. Getting ready for the workday. I've been up since
Mhm.
6, so.
That's right.
That's good.
Same here.
Welcome, Uncle Tom's niece to the panel.
Good time, niece.
You know,
Good morning.
Grand
it's
Rising.
just today. I felt like other than coming on Monday talking about genocide and all those hard things, like, it'll be easier to just start off a conversation with, mental health. If you want to, if you know some cues or some information that may help someone else, deal with a little mental health, whatever it is. I'm sure it'll help today. What's going on, Candace? Grand Rising. Um, yeah, so today we are having a FBA Soulaan mental health conversation. This conversation will be rooted in the betterment of our health in the mind, in our lineage. Co-host Cece, co-host Cece. You got anything about mental health you want to say? Hey, chill. Get back. Go.
Mm.
Go.
Other than I know that mental health is a very serious issue in America,
hmm
and it does run in the FBA family.
hmm
I know that for a fact.
So, can we separate no, no, no. It cannot be separated, the historical elements that go along with mental health in our community. Would you agree to that, co-host Cece?
Mm, well, I think that it could go hand in hand. I think
Mhm.
so. I think so.
I mean, it just adds context to and understanding to me. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Instead of just being labeled as certain things, you know what I'm saying? It adds a little bit more context to why things may be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Fuego, would you like to add to anything? Open panel as well, y'all.
Mental health is absolutely a topic of discussion that we should be having more often. For the longest, we have shied away from it. One of the biggest reasons I would say overarching would be how we chose faith and belief systems as that tool for mental health,
hmm
um, and without actually delving into these issues that we have and how we deal with trauma, has led us to have a negative reference point when it comes to mental health. But I think the conversation is definitely changing, and
mm
I'm just excited to actually engage with this conversation with everybody on the panel.
mm. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Just mental health, anything. Open panel. I would would uh okay, so what are some dynamics about mental health that you think are affecting us today that we can not what do you think are some
I,
mental health dynamics that we can kind of like start to be a little bit more focused on in our community and not just therapy? I want you guys to like give
I think I think we can start by letting our boys and our men express their feelings from a young age so they have
Okay.
healthy so they have a healthy avenue to express those feelings instead
So
of
like being vulnerable.
because when anytime a little boy cries, stop crying, you a boy, you a man, you ain't no girl.
Okay.
And it makes men find different avenues to release those emotions, and sometimes those avenues become violent or
Mm,
destructive or
yeah.
unlawful. So I feel like if we start treating men like humans and understand that all humans feel emotions,
Mm,
that's a big step in helping our community heal. And also, I feel like if we were to let men express their feelings more freely without shaming them, they
mm,
wouldn't be shaming women for having emotions too.
mm.
Because I've had people get pissed off because I started crying. Like, man, you stronger than that. You better than that. I'm just like, no, the fuck I'm not. If I was, I would
So
be crying about it.
okay, so that leads me to a question. Like, so why do you think we've been so programmed to be so hard all the time?
Because in our community,
Mm,
you're being targeted by your own community if you're not hard all the time. Like me, I got bullied a little bit in high school, and I bashed a bitch in the side of her face with a hammer, and that saved me for like the next 10 years. Nobody fucked with me, but then people forgot about the hammer incident.
you're funny, though.
So now I
Okay,
gotta figure out how to scare him back again from fucking with me without going to jail. Because I'm not a fighter, but
so that leads me to this question I have. Uh, how real is depression in our community? And can it be connect? Can you connect it to anything specific? And I'm gonna start with the bottom, Candace.
Hey, okay. So I wanted to answer the other ones
Oh, go
on
ahead.
mental health. Yeah, like I think you were asking about how can we, practically address mental health in our community, in
Yeah.
the Black community. And I wanted to say that we need to be we need to be normalizing care and not just the crises, right? Because I
Hmm.
think mental health really shouldn't be starting when things fall apart. It's therapy, of course, but like the check-ins and the rest that we get in our routine should be like regular when it comes to our mental health, and not just like in emergency only situations or whatever, or just like to the point of you're about to break.
Hmm.
We get pushed so far. We have to heal our nervous system, and we have generational stress that keeps us in fight or flight. And we have to be
You
real
are
about that.
you good because you knew I was gonna hit on that nervous system today. Stop
Yes,
playing with
yes.
me. Go keep
Because
cooking though. Sorry.
it's true though. No, our nervous system is shot for real because like
Hmm.
we have to sleep. We don't be getting enough sleep.
It's a
We
constant
don't get the right
survival mode.
exercise, the
Yeah.
sunlight we ain't getting. We don't practice good breathing. Our consistency around that is not as ranked and stacked high on our priority tree because we're trying to survive. And for the most part, we've been stretched. So we're trying to
Hmm.
help others survive. So our community based support that we do with each other is going to be what really refeeds us and stuff. So having, places to even talk about things.
Mm.
We didn't have safe spaces to talk about certain things, even
Yep.
in the workplace where, from my standpoint. But, we have to destigmatize help. Like, oh, you're something wrong with you because you're talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff I can say on that, but that's all. I just wanted to
I
like weigh
like
in.
that.
Yeah, depression
I
is real
like.
too. I'm not.
Oh yeah. Um, how real is depression, and can you connect it to anything specifically?
Yeah, I think once you get to a point where you are, our body goes into self-preservation a lot.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
sometimes depression can show up and like just not moving or not having the will to move because your body's trying to survive, like you are stressed to the max or you have worried yourself into, or, conditions have pushed you to be that way into survival mode sometimes. So depression can like take root, especially when we ruminate over, situations that happen in our lives or whatever
Right.
triggers it is that you can't control. So I'm not a mental health. I'm not qualified to speak on too much of it, but I would say like it's real because we feel it. It sucks in the Northeast because you have seasonal depression to top it off to combat with the lack
Yeah.
of sunlight. And another reason I want to get the hell out of here. I have to go to like get sun in Cali and shit just to feed it. But it's
if,
true.
go ahead.
There's physical conditions that physical influences too, and also things you can't control like systematic shit, systemic
Mhm.
poverty and stuff like that. So it's hard. It takes a lot of mental agilities and
Balance. Right.
to get out of this thing and be like what would one could consider normal, I guess. Well, what even is that? But you know what I'm saying? Like to survive. So all right, I'll land there.
Good. That's good cooking. Ish, you got anything you want to add to or say about mental health first?
Oh yeah. Actually, Miss Candace,
Yeah. You know
uh,
how she do.
she did excellent. So yeah, I mean, depression is real.
Thank you.
Obviously,
Yes.
depression is just the word that we use to describe what happens when your brain is
Hmm.
incapable of going into its natural reward system: serotonin,
That's good.
oxytocin, dopamine, adrenaline. Those are the chemicals that the brain secretes
Hmm.
when you have a balance between, I guess, happiness and joy, and fear and grief. And
Hmm.
so, for Black Americans, obviously, we have generational trauma. We have individual trauma, we have environmental trauma, we have nutritional trauma. And so it
Hmm.
kind of gets broken down into these different little pockets. And those pockets affect people in different ways. Of course, she mentioned the sleep. I know that there are a number of us who have issues with sleep. Some of that is because of irregularities in the cerebral cortex, irregularities in the lymphatic system, and the circadian rhythm also having irregularities, basically meaning areas of the brain that have to deal with stabilization and rest. So what happens is you get something called resilience fatigue. And when that happens, it puts your body in a state where it stays in fight or flight mode. And what happens when your body is in fight or flight mode? You produce a chemical called cortisol. Cortisol is the chemical that tells your brain that you need to either fight whatever is causing the ailment or run away, flight
Mm.
from whatever is causing the ailment. The issue with Black Americans is that because we're constantly dealing with repetitive barbarisms, we're never able to actually come out of that state in a
That's
balanced,
what I was
regulated
waiting
way.
on.
And because
Good
we're not
one.
able to come out of that state, it causes things like insomnia. It causes
Hmm.
things like melanin deficiency, in the sense that, so kind of what she said when she was talking about seasonal depression as a
Hmm.
result of not getting enough sunlight. So there's an enzyme in the body called manganese.
Hmm.
And that enzyme becomes activated, which helps to produce your melanin at a rate that is efficient. And when you don't get enough sunlight, that enzyme is not activated. And when it's not
Mm.
activated, it causes seasonal depression. And so
Mm.
that's what's happening in the brain. And essentially, the enzyme isn't activating the part of the brain that helps to configure the melanin in a neurological and a psychological way, or an
Hmm.
intellectual way. That's dealing with the pineal gland specifically. Something that's kind of interesting about that is 60 to 70% more often, Black children are born with their pineal glands wet, as in contrast to YT children,
Wow.
meaning that we are actually born more often with our pineal glands open than YT children. They're typically uh, born with their pineal glands closed or
Whoa.
calcified. And so what happens is trauma over time causes a deficiency with the proper balance of chemicals in the brain, which help to calcify the pineal gland. And not just the pineal gland, but actually
Mm.
helps to calcify the joint tissues, which is what can affect circulation, your motor ability. It can also affect your agility, and so on and
Wow.
so forth. So these things over time will make you, you'll be stiff,
Right.
you'll be kind
Pineal
of like
gland.
sore, you'll be kind of, so that can affect different things. It can affect appetite, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, I guess in the simple sense, to actually
Hmm.
answer your question, yes, depression is real. And
Wow.
we do need to take it seriously, in the sense, and I love what
Yes.
Uncle Tom's niece said when she said that we need to allow men to actually
Mm,
be humanized and not dehumanized, and actually understand that they are human beings. Emotions are not a natural, normal thing. Because what we've done is, in response to trauma, is kind of programmed them to be robots.
mm,
And when you don't allow them to feel their emotions and to understand the normalization of that, you actually cut off their ability to connect to their creativity, to connect to their ability to innovate, to
yeah.
connect to their ability to find joy. And when you do that, that's how you destroy the culture. So, I mean,
Mm.
this is a really important topic, and I'm glad you guys are having it. Thanks for letting me speak.
That was so lit. You, hey,
Incredible
I know,
Ishmael has spoken,
damn,
guys.
yeah, like
She
that
always drops so
pineal
much knowledge.
gland, no man, that pineal gland, I
The
didn't
calcified
know.
part,
I
yeah.
did not know. Wow, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Ish. Seriously, um, Miss Cece, are you there, co-host? What do you got?
Hmm.
What do you have on? Is depression
Well,
in the community real?
I'm dealing with health, and 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 I think a lot of medication doesn't help the part either, especially if you're dealing with an
Mm,
on day to day problem with your health.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that can cause some uh, depression and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So dealing with being taking medication all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Do
I
you
don't like it, but that's something that I have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But and I try to keep a positive thought about it. But
So do you think the depression in that situation, do you think it's comes from a place of like hopelessness?
no, it's not really
Okay.
hopelessness. It's just
Okay.
that it's something that you're not used to doing,
Mm,
having to do. But then when you get a certain age, you start having to take medication for different things, and so
mm.
especially especially when you're not used to being sick, but then start
What's
being
going on,
sick with
soul?
something. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that can cause depression and mental health.
Mm, good one. Okay. We're gonna elaborate on that a little bit more, Miss CC, a little later. Before you go ahead if you don't mind.
Yes, the depression. To me, I find it's prevalent. A lot of people, a lot of us, I would say, we don't view it as as a big issue. Um, I guess because we tend to try to find other ways to alleviate it.
Mm,
Um, I bouts of depression that personally have had, and living in dark places in the mind, and going to the places, going in when you're in those states of not wanting to eat, not wanting to go anywhere, go outside, not wanting to engage, and then not having an outlet to express the depression, weighs heavy, because then it
mm,
affects how you live. And then, like, I do like the fact that Candace did bring up seasonal depression. I'm sitting here looking out my window now as I get on the get on the computer to work,
mm,
uh, and looking outside. The sky's gray. I'm like, I don't feel like it.
mm.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think a lot of times a lot of times. Just equating things with just being a course of life than giving it a name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that I see we can do better at, with actually
Oh.
naming things versus um, brushing them off. And that's one of the things that helped me get through
Mm,
depression and anxiety myself.
mm. That's good, brother. Before we get to Jojo, I just want to say shout out to the family for tapping in. It's a Monday. We're gonna keep it steady. We're gonna keep it informative for you. Just tap in. If you feel like you have anything you want to say to the prompt that's in front of us or on the screen, just come up and cook, man. We ready to listen. And with that, we're gonna go ahead to JoJo. JoJo, what do you have on mental health before
Good.
we go into the, you know,
Okay, good
depression?
morning. I'm sitting next to a coffee pot, so if you hear the
You're
noise,
fine.
that's what that is.
You're fine.
When it comes down to mental health, and I'm very open and honest about the fact that every Monday morning at 9 a.m., my time I have therapy. I've been going to therapy since I was 11 years old. It works. It helps. Um, I personally, and I can divulge just because I'm very, like I said, very transparent. I
Mm,
suffer from bipolar numeral number two, not the
mm,
regular one, numeral number two. That's the one that you are um,
manic.
suffer from deep, no depression
Oh, okay.
is a self harm, like not just the self harm physically, but the self harm mentally. Like I would say, you know how
Mm,
people be saying negative things to me online. I didn't say it worse to myself in my head.
mm,
Okay, so when that's why but I understand, and I had to do some reading myself. I had to
mm,
read psychology books in order for me to understand my
mm,
triggers, understand why I am the way that I am in some way, shape, or form.
mm.
And it's been a couple decades almost that I've been
Oh,
doing this research so I can understand how I can move and how I can channel a lot of my depression when I do get
yeah.
into these harsh times. And I'm talking about dark.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
I no longer have the self unaliving thoughts.
And
I
that's
made a
good.
promise February 24th, 2007, at like 8 something in the morning that I would never have that thought again.
Hmm.
And it's
And you've been
almost
sticking to
19
it.
years. Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Um,
Proud of
and
you.
it's like for me, being able to channel my my pain, my
Mm,
depression into writing or,
mm,
you know, stuff like that. Because I had to
mm,
find a way to channel it into a positive way, in a
mm,
positive way. Because I do get those dark days. I do get those times when I just wake up and I feel blah. I don't know why I want to cry, but I'm not sad. But I just need to express it in that way. And
mm,
I I expressed that to my grandmother when I talked to her, or my therapist, or my
mm.
bestie, you know,
Right.
because if I was to continue to hold it in like I used to, I would
Mm-hmm.
be, I would feel darker and be in
Mm,
darker spaces because when I used to hold it in, it wasn't helping me. Um,
mm,
it was making me more depressed, and
mm,
that I knew that wasn't okay for me. Um, and when I had a traumatic situation happen some years ago, right before C-19, um, it triggered my PTSD, and I was isolated before C-19 happened. You
mm,
know, I'm talking about so isolated that no one was allowed to come in my apartment. I didn't want to be around people. I was a hermit for
mm,
about a year and something. And the only time I left my apartment was to go to the doctor's appointment or grocery shopping, and that was it.
mm.
Um, yeah, but I didn't say too much. I'm sorry.
No, you're
um,
fine. And this is what this prompt is about. And I want you to know that yeah, we are very, very proud of you. You know, February 24th, 2007, Joe, you doing good. And I'm gonna
I
need you
made
to
a
go ahead
promise
and
to a
keep that up.
baby. I made
Yeah,
a promise to a baby
I
looking at
need you
her
to
in her
keep that
face.
going. You know what I'm saying? Your input is definitely needed on panels like this, and I'm glad you came through. Shout out to JoJo. And
Thank you.
before we of course, what's going on, Saul? Welcome to the panel, brother.
What's good? What's good? What up?
What's up, man? What do you have to say about mental health in the FBA Soulaan community, man?
Um, in total,
Just in
and
total.
um, it needs to be more allowed.
Mm,
Mental health needs to be more accepted in the Soulan community, FBA Soulan community.
hmm.
I think for a long time it was too. It was a white
Shunned.
thing.
Hmm.
It was shunned. It was a white thing, and it was like not real
Hmm.
in mass numbers. And a lot of people couldn't, either speak out on it or get the help that they need for fear, which
Hmm.
was going to cause more mental instability, I would call it. because they just couldn't reach out because nobody wanted to. They just said get over it or go pray about it.
Mm, that's good.
So I think it needs to be more, uh, adapted, more
Hmm.
massively adapted. But yeah.
I'm gonna just throw this in there. I feel like when it comes to mental health, I'm always trying to dig back and find out reasons for shit. And I will say that historically, showing sadness, exhaustion, despair, whatever the emotions and shit, that shit wasn't safe, family. Like it could get you institutionalized, uh, unalived, punished, whipped, whatever was going on. Like, I feel like as a lineage, we have subconsciously taught ourselves to keep going, be strong, don't let them see you break. You can do, you feel me? And it hits on what Candace was saying about how that adds to, what's that word you said, Candace? The nervous system.
Yes.
Because we are always in a constant mode of survival.
Oh, Porties.
Go ahead,
Don't
Jojo.
forget that a long time ago during slavery,
Hmm.
they they diagnosed those runaway slaves as having drapetomia, right? And
Hmm.
a lot of those that was classified as a mental health disorder. So that
Hmm.
also can be a factor in on why a lot of Black Americans do not trust the diagnose,
Mm.
diagnosis that a lot of these doctors would give
Good
us
point,
for,
Jojo.
what I'm saying, because drapetomia, I think it was called, that they said it was a mental health disorder because those runaway slaves decided to run away.
Okay, I want to ask this as an open panel question. Is anger treated as mental health?
It
No,
can be.
it
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 can.
it. I'm
Hold on
sorry.
1 second. Go ahead, Ishmael. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut off
Oh,
speaking.
it
I
doesn't
I
matter.
can yield. I can wait.
Jojo, you want to go first?
Oh, no, no. Go ahead, Uncle
Go.
Tom.
Oh, go ahead,
Mhm.
Uncle Tom.
Um, I feel like it is, and I will really before you ask that question, I
Hmm.
wanted to kind of piggyback
Go ahead.
on top of runaway slaves being diagnosed with having mental issues.
Hmm.
The horrors that happen to women in those mental
Yeah,
institutions.
you're right.
So, most people's first teachers are their moms,
Mm.
like their parents in general, but especially their moms. So, you got generations of women completely writing off mental health and mental health issues.
Uh,
That becomes a problem in the community too.
hmm.
They're too afraid to even get help because what if I go to this
Mm.
doctor and tell this doctor I've been feeling depressed and now I'm locked up and who gonna take care of my kids?
Mm.
And I'm in with that.
That was nice,
That's an
Uncle Tom.
excellent point.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
think about
that.
that. That was good.
Yeah, because you have. I mean, you can look at the era of MK Ultra, where you literally had people being abducted off the street and being sterilized and being put into mental asylums,
Hmm.
and they weren't being the problem wasn't being addressed. They were simply just being suppressed. And that's why I said, is anger treated as a mental illness? Not typically. It's
Uh-huh.
in our community, it isn't treated as a mental illness. It's kind of like, oh well, they're just angry. And we
Right.
kind of just accept it because
Thank you,
there's so many
Ishmael.
things
Yes.
for Black Americans to be angry about. There's so many
Hmm.
things for us to be angry about, and rightfully so. But the thing is, anytime you ever go to therapy, they always kind of tell you that there are really only two emotions, love and fear. And so
Mm.
anger is a secondary emotion of fear, right? Or a secondary emotion of grief,
Hmm.
which is the centering point or the focal point of what fear actually is. Fear doesn't necessarily mean that you are afraid of something. It could be
Hmm.
that you are afraid of the unknown or that you are unsettled by the unknown. It could manifest in different ways. But I think we have created a culture where we kind of laugh at our pain. And so, we laugh at everything. We laugh at each other. We laugh at ourselves. We laugh at other
Hmm.
people. We make light of it's the proverbial dozens. We make light of trauma as opposed to really getting
That's
into the
good.
nucleus of what the trauma is truly doing to us from a molecular standpoint, and how it is affecting the very chemistry of our bodies and our brains. And so anger, and this is something that I have been undoubtedly working on in therapy for a very long time in terms of anger, because I resonate with the anger conversation deeply. And a lot of that is because I'm pissed. I'm pissed about the way that my people are treated. I'm pissed about the way that I'm treated. I'm pissed about the things that I see. I'm pissed about the fact that people want to march for YT folks who were, going outside fucking around with law enforcement. But when black people are minding their business, bothering no one, slaughtered in the streets, it's, well, what was he doing? And who was he fucking with? And the excuses and the way that people configure it is never quite the same as they do when we're talking about someone else being unalived in a different community. It's very weird to me. And so that shit pisses me off. And that really is just a
Yeah.
byproduct
Yeah.
of grief, of the
Mm-hmm.
grief of watching my people have to go through, hundreds of years of
Mm-hmm.
barbarisms, and now, oh, because it's a white woman
Yes.
who was really fucking with people and in a place she never should have been in the first place.
Cook.
Now
Yes.
everybody is in an uproar. So that type of
Mm-hmm.
shit, like, and I'm just using that as an example because
Mm-hmm.
that's 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 been a huge thing the last week or so, whatever. But
Yep.
my point is, I don't believe that anger is treated wholesomely in the ways that it could be treated by no fault of our community, but just simply because that's the terrain of the society that we live in. We live in a society where people don't value black anger just as much as they
Yeah.
don't value black joy.
Wow.
Right,
Yeah.
and I agree. I I
Damn. Go
I
ahead,
think
Candace.
yeah, I feel like anger is not a pathology in our community. It's a rational fucking response to
Mm,
sustained harm and exclusion, injustice, so on and so
I
forth. And then
like that.
historically, Black American anger has been, medicalized. Like
Mm-hmm.
even Jarika said as early as calling us, I forgot what the term was for wanting to fucking run away.
Drapetomania.
Yeah,
Drapetomania. That's
Drapetomania,
Yeah.
right?
it.
That's crazy.
And it's been criminalized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
What's up,
understood, and that's
Euros?
not necessarily accidental. And just like New Arrow
Mm-hmm.
said too, anger is not an issue. Like that's not the problem. So when we absolutely have a reason to be angry, right? So that
Yeah. Yeah.
the issue isn't the emotion, is what I'm saying. So it's more so what we
Mm-hmm.
do with it. So healing and stuff. When we start to talk about this in our community, it's not about suppressing that anger. It's really
Yes,
about
ma'am.
transmuting it into clarity and boundaries and organizing and policy, because anger can fuel what it needs to when it's directed, but because it's built movements, right? It has
Mm-hmm.
forced laws to change, it's changed conditions, so
Yeah.
on and so forth. So our thing is more around transmutation. And, there's an unprecedented amount of mental health issues. But just like you said, in our community,
Mm-hmm.
we just need to hold space for it. I feel
Yeah.
that talk about healing the nervous system. We need to have some community-based support works, and some of
There
these
you go.
spaces kind of become that too. There's some group therapy and a little bit of all of this. There's men's and women's circles. There's church and cultural spaces. Some people go within, but we need to be able to breathe to address it. Because we're very
Mm,
insightful people. Like we are insightful lineage with an insightful spirit. I think access
mm.
matters. I think our
Yes, ma'am.
media diet, we need to have some discipline around that shit.
Woo.
Let's
Access
stop
matters,
doom
Candace.
scrolling.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta have,
Yeah.
we indulge into like rage bait shit sometimes, and it just curates an imbalance, regulatory
Mm-hmm.
imbalance. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
inflame it, right? You want to try
Right.
to find ways to rest and find more creativity and use those parts of your brain, more joy. That those things are not luxuries. They're to be protected. So when our mental health improves, safety, stability, support, all that stuff becomes normal, and
Mm.
healing is more communal. It's not just personal, but it's structural too, and it's intentional. So I'll land there.
And can I say
That's
this real quick,
cooking. Do your
Porties?
thing. Do your thing,
And
JoJo.
I've always been this way when it comes
Yes,
down
ma'am.
to black males, right? Starting in
Mm-hmm.
the youth. I corrected this my entire life and still do. When they tell boys, oh no, boys should not cry. Suck it up. No.
Yeah.
I don't play that shit. Allow the little boy to cry. That's his way of showing his emotions without violence. And once the child is allowed to show their emotions without violence, that will help
Hmm.
also with him not having such a quote unquote
Yeah.
anger problem when he gets older. Because if he
Hmm.
knows how to channel his emotions without violence, when he gets older, he will know how to express his emotions without violence.
Always
You see
tell
what I'm
my
saying?
son on that point. I
Oh,
always I always
that's
tell my
that's that's
son
good.
that when you cry, crying is trauma leaving the body. It's
Mm.
your
Yes.
body's natural reaction
Yep.
to trying to rid itself of trauma that's too overwhelming for the brain
Yeah.
to deal with. And so you cry because you're trying to release some of that trauma. And
Hmm.
that's how we have to educate young boys, young
You
Young
okay,
men
Ish?
and
Phone call. She got a
Sorry,
phone
yeah,
call.
I got a phone call. But
Yep, you're
I
fine. You're
always
fine.
I tell my son that because that's something that is like that's a
The
huge
billboards are
thing.
coming
Oh,
up
well,
next.
you're a boy, you shouldn't cry. And it's like,
Yes, ma'am.
he's a
That's
human being. Like,
Hmm.
what are we
yeah,
talking
can I
about?
just
People crying.
I think
So
that's so good, Ishmael. I mean, I think we have to teach emotional
Yeah.
literacy
yeah.
early. Kids need language for feelings and conflict resolution and
Yeah.
boundaries, right? So
But you know what, Candace, not to cut you off,
yeah.
I have been hearing. I'm writing notes as I talk to y'all. I have a new program going over here, and it's just going to be very more intentional. So just to say, I've been writing notes as I've been listening to everybody talk, and then we're also going to welcome Uncle to the panel as well down here. Um, but I'm noticing that when it comes to mental health, vulnerability is like top priority. Being able to express being vulnerable. And I want Fuego to hit on this personally because he kind of hit on something in a conversation we had about holding a space that allows us to be that. You feel me? Go ahead, Fuego, if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
It's a scenario where regulating emotions as a man
Hmm.
is almost somewhat frowned upon, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it is.
to be vulnerable means that you have to
Good one, Jojo.
you have to be able to and willing to shed skin. You know what I mean? To shed
Yeah.
layers, to shed mask, to shed the projection that you put out to the world, right? And
Hmm.
so, for the longest, or as society dictates, for a man to have to be completely vulnerable is a
Hmm.
no go because of what a man is supposed to represent, right? A man is supposed to
That's right.
represent strength,
Hmm.
protection. We're supposed to represent builders, and so the list goes on, right? And so with that, the idea of vulnerability is seen as a hindrance to that progress, right?
Hmm.
That structure. Um, that particular narrative
Okay, come
has
back, Uncle Tom. Come back.
that particular narrative has kept us from really progressing emotionally, right? And having that, like
Yes, sir.
Candace said, emotional literacy, right?
Right.
Or emotional intelligence. We've had to pride ourselves on strength versus let me deal with all of my issues. Let me deal with
Right.
all that I am, right? And because of that, all those deep seated emotions that we don't address, they spill out in different ways, and like it spills out in anger because damn, I felt this way and I wasn't able to discuss it. Or
Right.
man, I lost my job, but and I can't figure out a way, and all I want to do is ball up and
Appreciate you,
cry,
B.
but I can't talk about it because I'm a man.
Right.
Or man, I failed at this, but I can't express myself emotionally because I have to stand
Right.
tall. You know what I mean? So and then we're
Hmm.
looking at the constant need to have to uh, um, perform the image of a man that it
Uh-huh.
stops us really from dealing with a lot of our issues. So um, yeah,
I mean,
being
and just for
vulnerable
context,
is being vulnerable. I think is the next step in
yes, sir.
our emotional intelligence as black men within our community. We
Mm-hmm.
can't move forward. And honestly, that's another reason why a lot of our why we see a lot of relationships are failing, because people don't want to be vulnerable, or
Mm-hmm.
at least men don't want to be
Now,
vulnerable to their
now,
woman. And
Fuego, just while you right there and there, we have a comment from Life down here he said he's literally saying never be vulnerable at any point as a man because people will use it against you.
well,
So
that
that's the
But I
sentiment we're
said,
used to.
yeah, that's the
but
What you say,
I,
sentiment they're
Joe?
used to.
but
That
you saw what I said, right?
he's literally showing exactly what I'm saying. The reason why
Mm-hmm.
we are not progressing as men, because we're so scared, or as Ishmael said, that fear of that fear that comes with being vulnerable
Go ahead, you Rose. That's good.
stops us from progressing.
Mm-hmm.
Being vulnerable does not mean that you're weak. Being
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable means that you can identify the areas where you need strength in.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And you can't see them if you're
That's
not
good.
vulnerable. If you constantly keep the mask on, you're not dealing with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you got to take that mask off and deal with yourself. Mike said,
I like
I'm
that.
looking at the man in the
In the
mirror. I'm
mirror. Say
asking him
less.
to change his ways.
Mm-hmm. Say less, brother.
No
That's good.
message. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at
Come on,
yourself and make a
Fuego.
change.
That's good, man. No
Hey.
message could have been any clearer.
And that's why I said in the
Damn.
comment section when he first
Alan.
started,
Hey, that's a
vulner-
good flight, brother. Go ahead, Jojo. Sorry.
vulnerability without the fear of retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I said it like that is because I
Mm-hmm.
used to have that
I
fear
seen
of
that. My bad.
retaliation whenever I was vulnerable. And I literally
Mm.
witnessed it myself. I told
Mm-hmm.
somebody what happened to me a few weeks later. They smacked it in my face.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I know I can't be vulnerable with you anymore.
Mm.
And I told them how that made me feel. And that made them feel bad about how they made me feel. But now I
Mm.
can tell them anything, you know. But I'm just saying, for a lot of us,
Yeah, but some so we have to start acknowledging. Let's get to I was about to say Uncle Steve. Let's get to brother Uncle
Uncle
down here.
Steve.
I don't know. I don't know. Uh, Go ahead, Uncle. What do you have to say about mental health? And just yeah. Welcome to the panel, brother.
Grand Rising, everybody. Thank you
Grand
for
Rising.
allowing me to have a voice.
Hmm.
Vulnerability, this
Thank you for that,
topic, and
Candace.
the things that have been said in this space.
Hmm.
Just there's so much that you can touch on.
Mm.
Each day, I find myself
Yes, sir.
dealing with a multitude of different aspects of different issues.
Mm.
More or less, a lot of them are a lot more heavy than what I would put on as I walk through my daily.
Yes, sir.
I work 7 days a week. I
Appreciate
don't
it,
really
Cosmo.
rest. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And because I'm trying to manage and maintain a household, on
Hmm.
my own back, I'm
Hmm.
bearing a cross of sorts.
Mm.
And when I go through my issues, my pains, my hurts, oftentimes I will grab our black music
Mm.
and use that music as a catalyst to quell my pain.
That's powerful.
It's a therapy for me.
Hmm.
Whether it's music that I've listened to from other artists or music that I've created on my own. But
Yes, sir.
with that being said, um, I, I work on a constant, and
Mm.
because of that, everything is always it's always going away as soon as you get it.
Wow.
And besides that, whenever you before you touch it, the government has his hands in it on so
Wow.
many different facets. You're taxed on
Hmm.
a constant.
Hmm.
So it's almost like you're never going to get ahead.
Hmm.
And then there's dealing with
I appreciate you coming
the,
up. We
the
needed
the
to hear
people in
this.
our community.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna try to land my plane.
No, you're
So
good. Cook,
there,
brother.
there are
Do your
people in
thing.
our there are people in our community that for the most part are phenomenal human beings.
Hmm.
Great, phenomenal human beings. But then there's also the other ones that we've got to deal with that we've never purged our society of.
Mm.
I would say the coon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're causing a great deal of harm to those of us who are on our ascension.
There you go.
With all of that being said, the second job that I work, oftentimes I have to deal with a lot of people, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna land my plane. Whenever I get with these people, and some people come and they approach you and they say, "Hey, how's your day?" And I'm like, "It's fantastic. I woke up." You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel at that moment. I don't want to push my sicknesses, my illnesses, my lower
Hmm.
level vibration onto the next human being so that they can carry it around too. So what I do is I state that. And they say, "Wow, really?" Yeah. It's because yesterday I dealt with all kinds of bullshit, all kinds of problems in my life. Today I've been given another opportunity
Hmm.
to try and fix some of those issues that I dealt with yesterday. I land my plane.
That's nice, brother. I appreciate you coming up here and just opening up to the panel, man. That's respect, man. I respect you for that, brother. And with that, we go on to Brother Bill. Welcome, Brother Bill, to the panel, man. What you got, man, on mental health within our community? It's a broad topic, and just go ahead, man.
Well, peace to family, of course. You know what I'm saying?
Always,
Uh,
always.
Finally got a chance to come up here real quick and definitely
Appreciate you.
chop it up with y'all. Yeah, it's my first full morning show, so yeah, I'm
Say
excited.
less, say less, say
Yeah,
less.
word. Good seeing everybody on the panel as well.
I
But
got you, Unc.
man, it's kind of crazy though. Not crazy, but I would just say got me sitting back and thinking just about like how all of this starts when your mental health. The earlier that you protect it, the better off you'll be, you know what I mean, as an adult. A lot of times we're not taught how to protect our mental health until we're adults, right? Or even taught to even take it seriously until we're adults. I mean, let's just look at how, as of late, now mental health is like a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a trend, you know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't even be like that, in my
Yep.
opinion,
Yeah.
right? And so it just goes to show you that
Please
people
come back, Ishmael. We need you to. We need you. Just please come back. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry about that.
yeah, no, it's all good. I was going to say that yeah, so as far as the mental health thing is concerned, it's easy when it's caught early. And I say that to say that when I was younger, I was considered like what, a runner. Like, I was always running away from the crib, right?
Hmm.
Because I didn't know how to deal with my pops, you feel me?
Hmm. That's
And
real.
so, having to try to figure that out because he was dealing with certain things
Hmm.
that he was growing, that he grew up seeing.
Hmm.
Like, in order for me to understand why he was, a certain way,
Hmm.
I had to dig into his past to a degree, right?
Okay.
And so as I was getting older, it helped me to learn how to forgive. And so, as one thing that I learned that's important for mental health, especially, at least depending on what it is, or if it's something that you're dealing with, forgiveness is huge.
Hmm.
And getting to understand why a person is the way they are is also important.
Wow.
And I say all that to say, because I was a runner, I was still young. I couldn't really understand or articulate how I was feeling, how my pops was making me feel per mental health, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know, just I've always had it in me as far as a young dude, just in general. Just I just have an old soul, but so something in me told me like, yo, I don't want to treat my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not that even my pastor was even a bad dude. Like, he's been in my life and all that, but there was just certain things,
Yeah.
that you was just butt heads with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something in me was just telling me that, right?
Right.
And I feel like now that I'm an adult, it made me a better person because I've been able to address
Hmm.
the hurt that that I might have gotten from him
Right.
because of I got that understanding.
Hmm.
Now, I also took that, you know what I'm saying, because I knew that that would be an important thing, me growing up as a man, to be a father, to make sure that you have that emotional stability, right?
Yeah.
And, don't ask me, I've always been an advanced dude, but for whatever reason, this is shit I was thinking about when I was younger to a degree, you know what I mean?
Now,
But I'm
I do
glad I
want to.
was, though. Huh?
I do want. I do want to ask you, brother.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
in that clarity you were able to capture in that healing and clarity, did it require you to have a conversation with the person that you know helped
My
cause some of the
pops.
pain? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And that's one thing I wish that parents would be a lot more what's the word? Just open more, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I guess you could say a lot more vulnerable, transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there would have been a lot of things, and he still doesn't, fully hasn't fully opened up like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just an old school thing when it
It's
comes
it's
to
a
that.
it's a lineage thing, and then that's why this is a prompt today, brother. You are
That's deep.
giving
Well, right. Well, there you go.
that's
Exactly
real,
right.
and
That's
I
why.
appreciate you for coming up here sharing this because this is I don't want to make you the perfect example, brother, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Nah, I
no,
get it.
for
I
real. So
get it.
finish cooking, brother. I'm sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So yeah, so that also helped mend the relationships with with my parents that I have now, and
Mm-hmm.
so that worked. But then another thing that I found was very important with mental health is you have to have
Mm-hmm.
something to live for. You have to have a purpose.
Yes. Yes.
You have to have a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I ask a lot of people. I still even ask adults this. I say, "Yo, when was the last time you dreamed?" And they
Wow.
be looking at me like, "What? What are you talking
Whoa,
about?"
that's a good question. No, no cap. No cap. That's a good question.
Word. For real though, you know what I'm saying? I ask my students this and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, don't ever, ever, ever in your life lose dreaming because that's the part of you that's going to be able to preserve a degree of innocence
Mm-hmm.
where you'll be able to look at the world with a degree of righteousness because we get jaded as we get older, you know what I'm saying, with certain
Mm-hmm.
experiences and stuff, you know? But when you have a
Mm.
purpose, it's something to look forward to. You wake up every day. It's like ain't nothing, no matter what you go through, is going to stop you. Why?
Yeah.
Because you have a purpose.
Yeah.
You're
I like
looking
that. I like
towards a
that.
goal. You're working towards something. And when you love something so much to that point, you're willing to go through anything until you get to that end goal. And a lot of people don't have something to really to wake up and dream for, work towards. They feel like they give up. It's too late. I'm too old. Or I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the talents, the resources. Well, we got to start teaching faith. You know what I'm saying? And this is exactly what it is. See, when you start to operate only by what you see
Mm-hmm.
and not what it could be and what
Mm-hmm.
you want the world to be, because you got to be that and put it out yourself.
Yep.
You're the one who's going to provide that balance. You can't acquiesce to the madness of that world, or else you're going to or else it's a wrap for you. Look at what's happening outside. Every time you turn around, it's something crazy. So the world, if you're fixated on what's going on, is literally meant to throw you off course mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to learn how to withdraw from the world.
Mm.
And that means quiet time.
Candace hit on that. You're right. You got to know how to withdraw. You're right, brother. Keep going.
Hmm.
Keep cooking.
You gotta learn how to
Y'all cooking.
withdraw. People don't like being by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know don't appreciate quiet time.
So
It's
you got to be
important.
able to find your own
Yeah, gotta
peace.
recharge. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's important because you're coming in contact with so many people throughout a daily basis. You're getting influenced subconsciously every day, whether people realize it or not. So if you don't take time to step away from this madness, this world, you know what I'm saying? You're literally gonna get caught up and wrapped up, you know?
Mhm.
And there's no way you're gonna be able to work on your mental health because you're fixated on madness. The world is meant to keep you glued and keep your head spinning. So you gotta know how to withdraw. You gotta know how to dream. You gotta know how to forgive, love.
Mm, mm.
All this, all of this is important for your mental health.
I like
You
that.
know.
I
So
like that.
I'll land with this: that it's important to, especially when it comes to certain things you may not understand about your parents.
Hmm.
It's important to get tap in with them so that you don't perpetuate generational curses. And
Hmm.
then from there, you get support and you find yourself Figure out
Hmm.
what is it that's going to make me want to get up every day. You need to
That's
have a
right.
dream. Got to fight, and you got to make sure that you take time out every day, literally quiet
Mm,
time by yourself.
mm. I
You
like
know,
that. I
that's
just want
it.
to take a minute and shout out Bill, man. Yeah, man, I really appreciate your response, bro. You kind of gave the perfect example of why these conversations are needed in our community, and why we need to, yeah, focus more on us, love our lineage, and our identity, and all of that shit just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And with that, we move on to brother Brian, man. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't get for everybody, man.
Morning,
I still
Hey,
Brian.
you
can't.
good?
I
Morning,
still
Brian.
can't
You good, man?
exchange.
You
Morning,
still
Brian.
can't
Get.
do it?
I
Did
You
you
I
stay
log
did it
out
over
and log
here
back in?
yesterday.
blessing everybody, man. You good?
Yeah. I did it yesterday. I did like $2, and
Hmm.
I couldn't send it. So I guess
Mm.
Candace got. Then I tried to get some to Rika and everybody, but hey, I'ma log out again.
Yeah,
But I
log
hope
out and log back
everybody.
in.
Yeah, I hope everybody having a great morning. Good morning,
Hmm.
Candace, my brother, Market Global, Jareka, Billboard, Uncle, Miss Cece and Fuego, and the host, Porties.
Grand
Appreciate you, brother
Rising.
Brian. And with that, brother Brian, we just want to poke at your brain a little bit, man, and kind of get where you at with mental health in our community, man. As a man, a FBA man in our community, where you at with mental health?
Um, I'm gonna start it with the community first, then I'm gonna
Hmm.
tie it to with me. Um,
Okay, cool.
there's a lot of mental health issues within our community, man.
Hmm.
Just like I think a brother was speaking earlier about, dealing with the stress of work,
Hmm.
family, um, things, we got to keep in line, right?
Hmm.
Our women going through things, they got to raise children, go to school, do things too. So a lot of our people are mentally stressed, and I think a lot of our people don't have no one to talk to. Also, we
Mm.
have a lot of people that they can't get those thoughts off their mind with the stress they
I
dealing
like
with the
that.
world. And there are some people that don't want to listen to them. Even going to therapy sometimes don't help, because a lot
Hmm.
of times when we go to therapy, we're not taking, a lot of people not trained to take the proper steps on taking an advice of therapists. A
There you
lot of
go.
people just want to,
Hmm.
vent, right?
Hmm.
So for me
That's good.
personally, I remember, I think I listened in on somebody like the man effect, like how men gotta not be vulnerable, men gotta be this stand up person, which is
Hmm.
true and which is not. For me
Hmm.
personally,
Hmm.
how I was taught, and I mentioned this yesterday, women and children can afford to make mistakes, but men can't. And I
Hmm.
always live by that rule. But I
Hmm.
always have compassion for my brothers that probably don't, that's going through things. That's why I always tell my brothers, like, listen, talk to me, reach out
Hmm.
to me. Don't hold that stuff in. You're gonna hold that stuff in, you're gonna have high blood pressure, you're gonna have heart
Hmm.
problems, or you're gonna
That's real.
unalive early, so talk to me, let it out. You know what I'm saying? Even you don't want to let it out to your old lady, let it out. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's why I try to tell my people, because I lost people to, they took themselves out, took their lives. And
Hmm.
but when they took their life, I understood why. I
Hmm.
wasn't hurt, I wasn't shocked, but I understood why, because the pressures of the world drove them to the ground. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, and that's why I always tell people, man,
Yeah.
talk it out. If you ain't got nobody to talk to, reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell
Hmm.
my partners and my homegirls and stuff like this. So, because a lot of people judged me when I was younger for this. I had a homegirl, she unalived her baby when she was
Hmm.
18 years old. We were about 18, 19 years old. She
Hmm.
unalived her baby, stuck her baby in one of them fire barrels, what them homes folks be
Wow.
using, stuck the baby in a fire barrel.
Hmm.
People looked at me crazy because I was there for her doing court. I was there for her doing her prison time when she was sentenced to 12
That's
years.
love. That's
But I
love.
understood, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understood why she did it, because she had some
Yeah.
mental issues. She went through some stuff. She was traumatized as a child. She
Hmm.
was R-worded as a child. She was abused as
Hmm.
a child. So even at 18, 19 years old, I understood, like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's wrong that she did. I don't agree with it. I didn't like it. And I told her, like, man, you
Hmm.
ain't have to do this. You could gave that, gave the baby to your auntie or somebody like that. But I also understood the mental health issues of it. So
Hmm.
I advise anyone that's going through financial problems, family problems, or relationship problems. anything. If you don't have nobody to talk to, even if you can't get a therapist, if you're working, man, your insurance will pay for it, or if you can't find that, even though we're everybody trying to get away from the church, but sometimes the church is a good place to talk to. Find something to
Hmm.
get that. You got to get that out. Don't hold it in, especially if you're a man. It's okay to be vulnerable with certain people. But I understand why men don't be vulnerable, because when we do be vulnerable, it gets thrown up in our face when we do something that the other person
That's good. That's
don't
good.
approve of. So I understand why
Hmm.
men don't be vulnerable. Trust me,
Hmm.
because I don't be vulnerable with like certain
Hmm.
people. You know what I mean?
That's
And
good.
you know, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
I like that. I like that. That came up here and cooked real quick, man. That's good. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. I like when you hit on the pressures of the world and giving people shit, really understanding. You feel me? Everybody life is different, man. Everybody function different. And like you said, you understood the aspects and that went a little deeper than just what everybody else was able to see. I appreciate that, man.
Can I say one more thing too?
Do a
I want
thing.
to
Do a
touch on
thing.
billboard with children, and another thing with children too. Like for me, my mother and father
Hmm.
allowed me to question them. Like when they tell me, man, you need to go do this. I said, why? Why I gotta do this? Now the average person back in the 80s would have got their mouth smacked, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But they allowed me to question them. Like why I need to do this. What's the point of this? You know what I mean? And with my children, one of the main things I taught my children was, um, question things. It's okay to question things. I
Hmm.
always allow my daughter and my son to come to me when things, when they got something on their mind, when they dealing with stuff, right?
Hmm.
Because the reason why is because as my children got older, and I know they're gonna start dealing with, things in life, things in
Hmm.
this world, I don't want them to feel like they can't talk to their daddy. I
That's
never
right.
want to be that daddy where I can't go to my dad because he's gonna act like
That's
this.
right.
Because
Mm.
Hmm.
as men, we love our daughters, right?
Yeah.
We look at our daughters as princesses. So guess what? My daughter, 14, 15 at the time, she was thinking about losing her virginity. Guess who she came to? Me. She talked to
Hmm.
me about it. The average
Hmm.
man couldn't took that conversation about their daughter want to fuck and shit, want to have
Hmm.
sex with,
That's
want to
real,
start having
brother.
sex. But
That's
I
real.
listened to her and I
Hmm.
talked to her, and she didn't have sex during that time. But she eventually probably she eventually did. But just the
Hmm.
point that she came to me, felt comfortable to talk to me about it,
That's real.
and
Her
that's
and her
where we
daddy.
need to make
Yeah.
sure our children
I
have a
like
safe
that.
space to talk to us,
Mm.
because instead of
Mm-hmm.
always being hard on them, it's okay to give them assurance. Because like I told my son and my daughter, I want y'all to be honest with me. That's why honesty is so important to me with them, because when you do something crazy in these streets and I'm gonna act a fool in the police station or in the school, I don't want to look crazy. Don't have your dad looking crazy in front of these folks. And they showed me a videotape of you stealing some candy. And you told me you didn't. Now tell me you
Right.
stole the candy, and then we're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
So I'm
Can
getting
I add to
norm.
my
No. I'm.
fault?
Oh
My
no.
bad.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add to that real quick, man.
Mhm.
Because that's really good that you said that, B. Because
Yeah, that's
I
good. I
was
like
that
that.
child
I like that.
because I was that child that couldn't really come to my pops or my
Hmm.
mom's like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Damn, that's
it
good.
was just like kind of whack,
That's powerful.
having to keep a lot of stuff in, and I was just luckily I didn't gravitate towards too many bad individuals,
Hmm.
but that's what that can lead to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, you hit on that. The generational curses is a real thing, and it's always important that we get into our brains of our parents and all that stuff, and then just to try to understand the things that whatever it was that we didn't like and stuff like that, so we don't repeat it and get an understanding so that we don't
Yeah.
harbor certain feelings.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I'm like just like what B said. I'm like, yo,
Hmm.
I don't want to be that parent where like my kids feel like they really can't approach me. They can't be open. And yeah, I mean, I think about the amount of things that I wanted to share and just be open with. But I'm like, damn, this nigga might trip. You know what I mean? Or I don't know what this nigga gonna say, what he gonna be on. Not to say like nigga, that's my pops, but you know what I mean. But like that's what I'm thinking in my brain.
Right.
So that's now we're a little better, 'cause,
Yeah.
maturity and stuff like that. But still things we having talks about. I feel like we could work on. But hey, It's all about this. Some progress is better than no progress, and some
Mm,
people don't even try at all. So at least you just gotta try.
that's good. I'm really getting normalizing of a place of safety with them kids. Raise them kids up and
Really,
raise
P.
them up. What you say, Bill?
I say, yeah, my fault. Keep cutting you up because it's
Oh no,
powerful.
you no you oh no you
I
good.
can respond to
Uh,
Yeah,
Bill when you finish too, FBA. Then I'm
yeah,
gonna drop.
go ahead,
yeah. I about to say,
Brian, because I'm really just hitting on like really what you were saying, brother. How that's
mhm,
powerful, brother, for your daughter to be able, to have that comfort and safety with you as her dad. Man,
mhm.
that's go ahead, B.
I
Yeah,
just want to
no,
say this too. Even though Billboard understood where his dad was coming from, but just people that have that same thought process as
Mm-hmm.
Billboard with their parents growing up, just look at it
Mm-hmm.
like this. A lot of our parents was learning as they go too, just like as us as
Yeah,
parents, we learn as we go. There was no
yeah,
book for our parents to be the perfect parent. They only knew what they had.
that's right.
I know Billboard know how his pops was, but I always tell people like that,
I
unless
like
you was
that.
abused or essayed or something like that, I get there's no book for that. I mean
Forgive,
nothing I
give
can say
space
about
for
that.
forgiveness.
Yeah, but there's our space for, just like Porty said, there are space for forgiveness and
Mm,
understanding. Because once I always
got
tell
that.
people, when we had our children, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were mimicking mama and daddy on how they raised us.
No cap, no
And that's
cap.
what I did. I mimicked my mom and dad because that's what my mom and dad did. They allowed me to
Mm,
come to them when things was wrong. I just picked on them and I just enhanced it. But like I tell people, mom and daddy, grandma and granddaddy, auntie and uncles that raised us, there was no book on how to be the perfect parent to us. And I think sometimes, man, we just gotta look at it like that. But I'm gonna land my plane. Shout out to you, Billboard.
mm,
I
word,
like that.
man.
I
Good
like
stuff,
that.
P. Word. This
I
is a
just
great
wanted to.
topic today, P. For real, man.
I really appreciate that. Just for a little joke, y'all. I was trying to come in Monday talking about G side and eradication and shit. And somebody important to me stopped me like that, brother. It's Monday. Nah, chill. And I said, all right, you know what? It's gonna be more about healing then and getting prepared for the week ahead. You feel me? And I hope some of these cues and tips that people dropping and examples and lived experiences will help the next person. Shit, through this week and onward. You feel me? And with that, I just want to take a little commercial break and say thank you to everybody that's been just putting a little input in, y'all. I hope more people feel open enough to come up here and share this an opinion on this very important topic. We got a new show going on. We reworked a lot of things. We will not be on all day anymore. We'll be clocking out at about 11:30, 12, Monday through Thursday. And we're gonna keep it hitting for y'all. And that leads me to my next question. And we're gonna start with Candice and work our way up.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. You
Has
may want
the
to skip me because I'm making a sandwich, but
oh, oh
can you come
so
back to
you
me?
so you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Making a
Come back.
sandwich. It's early in the
I,
morning.
We gonna start with Saul. You
I'm
good, Candice?
hungry.
Do your thing.
I'm
Ken don't know
so
how to cook. That's
hungry.
why she making a
No, yeah,
sandwich.
no,
Making a
because New
sandwich.
Arrows just told me he was cooking, and I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. I don't want to, but I don't want to cook. I want to be, lazy. So I'm gonna do a
Say
sandwich.
less.
All right.
Say less. Um,
What's good, player?
has the Black Church panel, starting with
No.
Saul, helped or harmed our lineage in mental health?
Harm.
Harmed. Definitely harmed. The
Uh, just cook a little bit. I got my
so
Can,
key
can you
notes
can
going.
you explain that a little bit, Portis? What you mean by that?
Um, has the Black Church helped or harmed our lineage mental health by like encouraging silence, uh prayer only solutions, shit, suffering as virtue, it's praying yourself out of poverty. I mean, just a whole bunch of different examples. Some people completely reject talking to someone because they feel like they praying is better or will work above. So I just wanted to kind of open that up a little bit in our community and have start having the conversation about church and coping and you know. So yeah,
so
so
yeah,
if
yeah.
you would
So
just cook a little bit on that,
I
how has
mean,
the Black
it'll be.
church helped or harmed us?
I mean, it'll be very little. Especially somebody growing up into the church and just seeing
Mm,
the misnomers. that comes out of the church, and the people they're just not accepting things of their personal accountabilities when it comes to
Mm,
church. They think like they throw everything onto the altar, and instead of
mm.
throwing it onto themselves, and just saying like, yeah,
Okay.
God didn't do it, you
Okay.
did it. You
That's good.
chose to indulge in these particular behaviors, or be around these particular people.
Mm,
And it seems like the church kind of touches on, it allows you to, broke people collect broke people, and it seems like
yes,
the
sir.
church collects all of them and
Welcome,
puts
New
you in the same
Eros. First time on the panel.
same room. And how can the
Mm,
healing happen if you're not being honest with yourself?
that's good.
So
That's
I see a
good.
lot of people that go to the church is already still seeking the healing. That's why they're at the church. But then you
Mm,
standing next to somebody that's seeking the same thing. So who actually has the answer? And then you're
I
going to blame
like
it all
that.
on, you're going to blame it on the Bible. You're going to blame it on God just to feel better about yourself, because what Fragel is saying, you didn't look in the mirror and you didn't check yourself before you
Mm,
actually try to do anything else.
mm. Woo! I like that. I like that. I like that.
Praise God.
Uh, self accountability. I like that. Take it. Don't. Yeah. Go. I ain't gonna wait. Jojo.
For me, from my perspective, as somebody who
Yes,
grew up
ma'am.
in the church as well,
Yes, ma'am.
I think that it's a definite hindrance when it comes down to our mental health, and I'm gonna explain why. And I'm gonna go for personal experience.
Yes, ma'am.
As a child, I was assaulted, and I was told to forgive. I was told to forgive.
Mm,
Now, that in itself was a struggle because I wasn't even a teenager yet. But over time, I kept being told that, well, such and such died for you, well, unalive for your sins. I'm sorry about that. Unalive for your
mm,
sins, all of our sins. You got to forgive. God
mm,
forgive. God is a forgiving God, and blah 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 blah. Putting that on a child, and they like to do that to children, by the way,
mm.
putting that type of
Pressure.
yes,
Yeah.
pressure on a child to forgive an adult for doing something to the child. So that causes mental harm. That causes um, a person like me to experience. I'm sorry, somebody who has to go to like therapy every week now. At about to be 40. So yeah, it harms us when we only seek. I'm sorry. It harms us mentally because we only do that when it comes to us, but when it
Mm,
comes to everybody else, is they should, blah 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 blah.
mm.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. I just want to take a second and yeah, thank everybody once again for having this conversation, and also just acknowledge that I'm not trying to be any type of divider or any type of, no, this is not, it's just about opening up spaces for us to have these conversations. I don't, we can praise who we want to praise. I praise who I praise. So with that, I just want to move on to arrows. And yeah, man, how has the black church helped or harmed us with the mental health and situation area right there?
Hello, thank you for having me.
I mean, it's all good.
Yeah, it's there's no one side to this question
Mhm,
because from what I've researched and also from my personal experience, it can be
mhm.
a hindrance, but it also can be a blessing when it comes to the Black American church.
Okay.
Like that's why I said like at least when it comes as it pertains to the old Black American church, right? There was more community involved. A lot of
Mhm,
HBCUs and stuff like that when it comes to education and cultural what's it called uh cultural preservation within the
mhm,
church, right?
mhm, mhm,
And also it was like a true like church is supposed to be a sanctuary. And back in the day, it was a sanctuary before rigid rules and like things as like I'm sorry you guys, I'm just waking up and I have to get ready, but like I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
You
But
good. You good.
there's like the culture of the church can be bad, the
Mhm,
institution of the church can be bad, but the spirituality, I believe, is a necessity. And there are three
Okay.
different things.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Because those
I'm gonna
spiritual
write that
elites,
down.
our ancestors,
I like that. I like that.
yeah,
Sorry.
because
Go
there's
ahead.
spiritual things that our ancestors did within the church, especially the old black church and even the hoodoo
Mhm.
church. If you go back that far, even to the invisible church, the invisible institution, and what our ancestors did to gather strength to combat, white supremacy.
Mhm.
Some of those things are still in the Black American church. But as far as like respectability politics,
Mhm.
that's terrible.
Mhm.
Like I said, the institution and the culture can be problematic, but
Yeah.
the spirituality of it is it can heal it can help the community, and it often does
Mm.
heal the community. There's reasons why those
Mm.
people go there in the
Mhm.
first place.
Mm. I received that. I received that.
This is coming from a person who isn't
That is
really
also.
Christian.
I received that. That the culture of the church can be problematic in a sense of harm. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
accept that, man.
Hmm.
Oh no. Did you land? Were you landing a?
Oh, uh, as it pertains to mental health,
Mm-hmm.
um, I I've had a pretty decent life. I mean, I do go through things, but I just noticed that. I mean, I learned this when I was like 15. For my personal mental health, I still implement astrology, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like astrology has always been a mental health tool for me. Like
Mm.
learning things about myself or whatever, what I like, how I operate, why I feel the way I feel, why I'm experiencing certain things.
Mm.
I could just give an example like my moon, right? My moon is in Libra and it's in the fourth house. So therefore I know my emotional input, right? I'm very logical with my emotions and I have a need for symmetrical, beautiful things in my life. So that helps me navigate my emotions. And I'm also a Scorpio, so therefore my emotions can be very intense.
Mm-hmm.
And on a given day, like it could be more intense on a Tuesday than a Friday.
Mm.
So that's how I navigate my personal mental health.
Mm. That's real. I appreciate that, man. We
See my
and we go to
comment,
Brother Bill.
Porties?
Yes, JoJo says if a lot of churches were more about profits instead of profit,
I
it would
agree.
be
I
amazing.
agree, and that's why I said the modern day when it became compromised, when it
That's a good
became
point, JoJo.
corporate, when they find out that they don't have to pay taxes and stuff like that.
Uh,
Money is the devil, and the devil can be in the church too.
mm,
Forget that.
mm, damn. Brother Bill,
Yeah, as
how
far as
has the black church helped or harmed us in the
well,
mental health category?
yeah, it's. I don't think that you could go either way because it has been hijacked, right? And
Say
so,
that. Sorry, Bill. Hey, Uncle Tom, I'm gonna need you to save that right there in just 1 second. Go ahead, Bill.
yep. I was gonna say, I said, I don't think that we could go definitively as far as when we say harm, more so. I mean, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely has harm, but we have to put context to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it only started harming once the government got involved, and
Talk
then
to me, brother. Talk to me.
and then once the government got involved, well, then those the politics within the church and all sorts of stuff, and there's things behind the scenes that do happen with that.
Hmm.
So what we have to have as a people is discernment. So there are good churches out there,
Hmm.
genuine
Hmm.
individuals. Like Errol said, people still come to the church as a source of relief,
Hmm.
comfort, and I think it is important because yeah, a lot of people there's a lot of problems when you go
Hmm.
in an establishment like that. And I think you find healing with that because you have individuals who have similar issues and so you don't feel like you're going through it by yourself,
Hmm.
you know? And so that scripture says to not, long story I guess to sum it up, to not downplay congregating together, and
Hmm.
that's kind of the reason why, like even like right now, right, how we're talking and just and sharing experiences and all those other stuff like that, right? We can't
Hmm.
downplay this, how powerful this is.
That's right. That's right.
We might have helped somebody and everything else. This is church as well, by the way. We have to change our understanding of what the church is. Once again, it's been manipulated, scripture and ideology. The church
Mm,
has been manipulated to be thought to be a physical establishment only. Meanwhile, scripture
mm,
says when two or three are gathered together in the midst, that's where God is. Right
mm,
now, we're talking about righteousness, we're talking about healing. God is in the midst of us right now.
mm.
Okay. So yeah, we're having church right now. So when we
That's
say that,
good.
we really have to lay this out
That's good.
and dissect it to the point where we understand when did it become harmful,
Mm,
but how it's still helpful. It's still helpful. Why? Because the
mm,
church isn't a physical establishment. The church is in essence, the gathering of the righteous ones together
mm.
and doing something that's going to progress mankind in our land.
I like that. That's a good flight, brother. I like that. That was real good, man. I got some good little notes off that response. I appreciate that, Bill. Uh, Uncle Tom Niece,
Hello.
would you please do a little cooking for the people on the comments you made down here saying the
It
churches
can.
sometimes be alien, do your thing, sis.
I feel like it's alienating to people who don't believe. You got to understand, we have
Mm,
a whole generation of young people who grew up with the internet. So, like with
mm,
my generation, when I was growing up, it was blasphemous to say you didn't believe in the Bible or church or Jesus. But this
mm,
new generation ain't trying to hear that shit. They got too much information that makes them believe that the Bible is not truthful, you know. So
mm.
once we feel like, because I don't want to offend a Christian on this post,
Yeah.
but I'm one of those people that I don't believe anything in the Bible that happened. I believe every story in the Bible was stolen from another religion or spirituality. And I also feel like as a woman, a lot of the beliefs in the Bible was harmful. So
Mm,
as soon as you say Jesus to me, I shut down. Like nothing else that comes out of your mouth is credible to me. And that can be harmful because Christians can give you some tea. Like so I don't know how to explain it because I know some very intelligent Christian people. I have learned some useful things from intelligent Christian people
mm,
only when they're leading with the intelligent part. As soon as you lead with Jesus, as soon as you tell me to pray
mm,
about it,
mm,
everything else that comes out of your mouth it is hogwash to me.
mm,
So that can be harmful. Another reason why I'm so like just not only do I not believe in the church, I'm against the church, is because like JoJo said, you you get abused by somebody and the church is telling you to forgive them no matter what because
mm,
Jesus forgives, because God forgives. And
mm,
that can be harmful because then,
mm,
on top of the forgiveness, some of these people who are being harmful towards you that you have to forgive never stop being harmful. So now
mm.
the forgiveness turns into placency. Now the forgiveness turns into, well,
Whew.
this is life. Now the
Cook.
forgiveness turns into, oh, well, this is just how I deserve to be treated. This is just how I'm gonna have to live for the rest of my life because I've been forgiving this person and they still haven't stopped abusing me. So maybe that's just my place in life. And I just, like I said, right now the goal is to educate the young people. The goal is to get the young people on board, with whatever movement we have to make. And if we're coming at these young people with things that they simply don't agree with or don't believe with, they'll shut down
Mm,
and won't even listen to the things that we have to say that they do agree with. They'll shut
wow.
down and they won't listen to the things that
What's going on, real
will be
estate?
helpful to them. But
Cool water.
I'm gonna land with that.
I respect that. Hey, Uncle Tom's niece, I love you. Damn, that's cooking. And I respect that. Everything you said, I respect that. Cooking right there. What's going on, CC?
Yes.
Would you please just cook for and tell the people what you think the black church has it helped or harmed our community with our mental health situations?
I think it's done both
Okay. Okay.
because it's a way of children learning how to have manners.
Mm,
And back when my grandmother was being raised, it was also a way of you would say your life, because you could not have any kind of reaction toward what white people did. So whatever your reaction was, sometimes could be the unaliving of your whole entire family.
mm,
So the church was a way for everybody to mourn together, be sad together, be happy together. They shared. They shared all of this. They shared protection. So yeah, it was a good thing until the government, the money part, got involved, and
mm.
it caused corruption.
We're in government again. Okay.
So anytime money has it, the Bible already tell you, it's greed. It
Mm,
causes greed. It causes selfishness. It causes a lot of things.
mm, okay.
It also causes you not to share. There's no sharing. There's no protection.
Mm,
So after then, you kind of left on your own devices sometimes, whether you want to believe or not believe,
mm,
whether you're a good person or not so good person. All that's going to be on your sleeve. It's not on anybody else's sleeve anymore. It's on yours. Saying it depends on what kind of heart, mind, and soul that you have. If I choose to have a negative mind, then I'm going to seek out negative things.
mm,
If I choose to have a positive mind, then I'm going to seek out positive things. And when it comes to really down to it, it's going to be the accountability of you and you only, because you are the only one that can choose
mm,
what you do. After you get a certain age, you are responsible for you. So mental health can go either way, good or bad.
mm,
Everybody wish to have a good mind, but we don't. And since we're not like that and we're not like each other,
mm,
I should be able to accept whatever mind you have, because it's not
mm,
my mind, it's yours. I'm not responsible for yours. I'm responsible for mine. And the judgmental thing, that's where the judgmental thing come in with absolutely with mental health. Why should I judge anything that you do? I'm causing that problem, that mental issue problem for myself, because that's none of my business. But if I make it my business, then it becomes a problem that I have, that's what we call a personal problem. So everything we do from then on, when we get a certain age, what they call grown, it's not anybody else's responsibility of what kind of mental condition you may have,
I'm back,
you
JoJo.
unless you speaking like JoJo, remember speaking, unless you speaking like trauma. These are taken out of your hand as a
Mm,
child. These are
mm,
taken out of your hands as a child.
mm,
And then that child has to grow up to learn how to find something that's gonna help. Some people do, some people don't. I mean, I'm just so happen to be blessed that I found myself out of a deep well.
Mm.
I didn't do it by myself. Obviously, I had the heavenly creator, whatever you want to call him, help. But some
Oh, you're
people
saying
don't.
so in your case, it's in your case personally, it has helped
Personally,
you. Okay.
personally, I
Okay.
had
I'll
to.
I'll I'll
And
receive that.
another thing
Yeah.
is,
Can I
I want
piggyback
to put
off
this out.
of
I
what you
want to put
said
this
there,
out.
Cece? Oh, I was going to
I
say
wrote
that.
a lot of.
Oh, go ahead. Go
I,
ahead. Because
I
I was going to kind of back you up in that comment that it's kind of hard for people to. It's kind of hard to explain the
Mm-hmm.
spirituality of the church to people
Mm-hmm.
who may never had supernatural experiences in the
Mm-hmm.
church.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are yeah, supernatural can it's it's something that you can't measure in a scientific way.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say so, also. I wrote a lot of journals. I wrote a lot of journals when I was having a little mental. I wrote a lot of journals to myself, and then I would go back sometime and read them a month later, and I could see where I need to do what I need to do and how I need to do it because I wrote to myself, and I
Come
wait
on up, brother
to
Coolwater.
read it,
I'd like to hear from you on this topic, brother Cool.
and
Appreciate that.
uh,
Oh, you still you done, CC?
and read it.
Mm-hmm.
You can explain to yourself a lot of things when you see it on black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a lot of things
Thank you.
that you didn't see it. You did not see it why it was happening, but I wrote it down. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
how I was feeling. I wrote why I was feeling it, and I closed the book. Then I go back and
Okay.
read it. So that was a lot of healing. I can't speak for everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
but that was a lot of healing for me.
Well, thank you. I hope somebody out there listening, that's another, yeah, being able to have that personal experience with, I'm gonna say personal conversation with yourself. Uh, and I like that. I like that. That helps a lot of people, I'm sure, like having a diary or, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. We received that, Miss CC. Brother Fuego, and then we get to, we're gonna welcome Brother Cool to the panel.
So I think it's messaging and application.
Mm,
So a lot of times we hear in the church, like, I mean, because I have the same background. I'm growing up in church, and most of my
mm,
family is still in the church, right? But
mm,
I always noticed that it's always been messaging and then the application of the messaging.
mm,
Uh, and there's many things that you can find in scripture that is beneficial, but when you just take it for face value, or you just take the message in and you put it in the back of your head, and then you go about your day, did you really take that message in and then apply it, right?
mm,
So I say, has it been harmful or has it helped? Um, yeah, I think it is. Here I go being indecisive again. I think it is. I think it is a scenario of kind of both, where it is both. It has been harmful because people haven't taken the message and actually applied it. I mean, like, take for instance, it says to think on these things, think on the things that are pure, think on the things that are honest, think on the things that are true. You know what I
mm,
mean? So instead of thinking on these things, we tend to think on all the negative aspects of whatever circumstance that we're going through, right?
mm, mm,
And then you also have where the harm is. The preacher style has always been, or not always been, but it tends to be a preach at you, or don't do this or don't do that. If you do this, then the age old tell you're a fire and brimstone message. You know what I mean? Um,
mm,
so in that someone's psyche can be messed up, and
Yeah.
They boundary themselves. But I believe that if people are listening to messaging and
Hmm.
once again learning how to eat the meat and spit out the bones, it could be more helpful.
Mm.
Personally, like I said, I grew up in the church. I mean, going through bouts of depression myself,
Hmm.
but not taking the bones as the only portion of the message that I'm getting, and looking for the meat. You know what I mean? Looking for the things that are actually helpful, and then applying that. So if I know that if I know that uh, okay, smoking cigarettes, if I know that it is detrimental and I continue to do the detrimental thing, then
Hmm.
it's not the messaging's fault. It's my application of the messaging, right?
Hmm.
If I hear a message of, hey,
I like that. I like
if you
that.
get up and if you get up and you think on you pray about, you know, if you pray about an issue that you're going through, and once you pray about it, you give it over, and then go about your day and not worry about it. That takes away from you stressing about it often. You know what I mean? You're not, it's
Hmm.
not at the forefront in your mind if you gave it over. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But if you say you gave it over and then you turn around and that's the only thing that's on your mind, did you really give it over? Did the application portion of it really happen? Um,
Mm.
I don't know. I I've moved away from the church itself because of how messaging comes across, and it has helped my mental health. But you know, like Bill said, the
Hmm.
assembly is something that, you know what I mean, that was good. It felt good to be around like-minded people and gain strength, you know what I mean, from just being in their presence. So yeah, I
Wow.
mean, there's pros and cons to that particular
Hmm.
question.
That's
And I
that's
land there.
that's lit. That's lit, man. I really appreciate that response. Yeah, I got a lot of little tidbits out of there. And with that, we move to brother Cool, man. Welcome to the panel, man.
It was a good morning, family. Hope everybody's keeping warm. I'm trying
Uh,
to
no,
understand the
you good. Go
prompt.
ahead.
I don't get.
The prompt.
I'm not clear where y'all.
We we're just talking about mental health. We kind of been past the prompt, so now we on my little follow up questions to follow with the prompt, and that is, how has the Black church has it helped or harmed us with our mental health struggles?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. When in the church, well, they always call the church the hospital, right? Uh,
Okay.
my point of view on the Black church is I used to be deeply involved into it. I'm
Hmm.
talking about deeply involved. And
Hmm.
it just began to see, like, how do I say this, man? Because I know it's a lot of people still in that, and
Yeah.
I don't want to offend nobody, but this is
Yeah.
just my
We just want to have
reality.
a conversation, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
hopefully you can just keep it real honest, man.
I found out what I got from the church was it wasn't really practicing what it was preaching.
Oh.
It's a good book to fine tune how you should move as a human being, a guide on how you treat people, the universe, and the things that you should. So it has a lot of pros and a lot of cons in it. I got a
Hmm.
lot of good scriptures that I still use today because I think there's teaching moments, not just only in the Christianity
Mm.
realm, but
Mm.
just in knowledge seeking. There's books, there's different things that can elevate your thought process, right?
Hmm.
The church, man, I was in it at a very high level. When I say high level, I mean I was around just about all the super preachers, the mid preachers, the little preachers, because I came into it through a musical point of view. And
Hmm.
and I just found out, man, being that close to the ones who were supposed to be delivering the messages, that they wasn't living what they were preaching, bro. And there was a
Mm.
lot of manipulation going on in the church, more of the taking than it was the giving, right?
Mm.
And I also realized there was never a graduation process. Like you go to school and college for however many years you do, you get your degree, you move on, you go do your life. But nobody in the church seemed to follow. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody. Many people in the
Hmm.
church don't follow the go ye concept, right? You sit
That's
down,
respect.
you learn the word, you understand the word, you know how to apply the word, but you only really encounter God when you step out into your go ye, meaning that you're not around the congregation, you're not around the
Hmm.
pastor who has been led to believe that he is the person that hears from God more than you do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And all these type of things. But what I
Hmm.
learned is when I stepped out and went to do what God called me to do, even though preachers were telling me the pastor didn't release you, well, the pastor didn't bring me, so the pastor don't give me the permission to lead. But when God told me it was time to go where I sent you to go, and
Hmm.
it was very uncomfortable because now I had to rely on the scripture. I had to rely on all the teachings that it was taught, and some of that stuff worked and some of it didn't, man. And
Right.
so I don't know if it also said from a mental point of view, make a meeting with the pastor. Well, the pastors, most pastors are not qualified to deal with health issues or health problems or mental issues, but they were
Hmm.
always given that mental like they were, right? So
Hmm. I
I
like where
don't
you're
know if
going
the
with that.
church,
I like
excuse
where
me,
you're going with that.
I'm not really sure that the church is the place for mental health.
Hmm.
They'll make you think that Jesus is the healer of
That's good,
everything,
brother.
but
I'm
there's a
glad you
lot
said
that you
that.
have to do yourself for self healing. You have to seek the knowledge because study to show yourself approved is not just biblical, it's just life. Study to self approved to how do you move in life. And there's like Dr. Carl Anderson is a book that needs to be studied on how you need to move in life, right?
Mm,
So I don't
I
know if the
like that.
church is the place
Oh, I
for
like that.
mental healing. It is
Hmm.
a place where you can learn about the Bible and get an
I'm glad
understanding
you
about
came
what.
up here, brother. Seriously, I
But
like that right
but
there.
how long does it take a person to study the Bible before you learn it? It is the only
Hmm.
book that requires a lifelong study,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You don't ever graduate and go do things and all these
Hmm.
things that the Bible require. A lot of people don't do, So you see a great falling away from the church because people are just realizing that this ain't it. This is,
Mm,
my great great grandparents were probably studying the Bible or what in form of the Bible. All the way up to
mm.
my grandmother, my mother, me. It's just a pass on. You don't get to choose what religion you want because you are raised into whatever religion your parents are part of, right?
Mm.
So when you become an adult, it may not be the thing that you need in your life, even though you've been indoctrinated into it since you was a kid from
Wow.
Sunday school all the way through, right? So I don't
Wow.
know. I don't call it a healing place. I call it a place of knowing and learning the Bible, but then take
I
that
like that.
usage of the Bible out into the streets of the community and show the people how it is supposed to be effective. Everybody
Hmm.
waiting on Jesus or the coming back of the Lord for this shit to be finished. But there's a
Hmm.
lot of things that you need to do in between that time, whenever that shall be, because no man knows the time nor the hour, according to the book, right? So while
Hmm.
we concentrate on something, work on fixing now where you
Yeah.
alive now. How do you fix this shit now with what you
Yeah.
know now? So that's my little piece on it, man. But I could talk about that thing.
Hey,
And I've
cool,
seen some
man.
stories, man, that would blow your motherfucking mind behind the doors, bro. Trust me.
No, seriously, man. Man, when I seen you come into the room, I'm like, yeah, I gotta get him up here. You get to cooking, man, and you hit on church not even being the place for it. Mental health.
It's not.
That's what needs to be acknowledged, man.
It says it's the place of worship. It don't say the
There you
place of
go.
mental health. Like,
Woo.
so I don't know what, a lot of people think that is it, but I would tell you to seek a professional person who's
Mm-hmm.
has scholarship, just like a
Mm-hmm.
theologian has a scholarship in
Mm-hmm.
theology. A person
Yes,
has
sir.
a scholarship in health, how to guide you through those things. Seek those people who are knowledgeable in things that can help you get to the place you're trying to go. And it ain't the church. The pastor can give you a good word, but he ain't qualified to give you no shit on no health. Right now. So yeah, keep a thing, bro. So
No cap, no
all
cap.
right, bro,
I
I'm done.
received that, man. I received that, man. I received that. What's going on, real estate? Good to see you, brother Jay. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
What's going What's going on, man? What you got to add to the black church? Has it helped or harmed us in our mental health struggles?
The black church in the
Cool water. That was
past.
smooth. Sorry, brother.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to say since the church ain't been as helpful as it
Hmm.
used to be since the civil rights movement. That's because the government realized that the church was like a center hub
Hmm.
for us, so they started targeting our religious leaders,
Hmm.
and they basically ran the COINTELPRO with them, basically making them sign on the dotted line that they can't speak out against the government, and as long as they don't speak out against the government, they will receive basically tax free money. They can keep all the money that they make. They'll be considered a nonprofit, but as a nonprofit, they must show that they are having some type of income coming into the church at the same time. It's a
Mm.
very it's a
Mm.
very
Cook.
yeah, it's a shady ass deal. I'm not gonna count. It's a
Do
shady
your
ass
thing,
fucking
brother.
deal. But and a lot of times these people in these congregations, they don't do no outside research for themselves. They just go to church Sunday and Wednesday,
Mm.
and they attend the normal Bible study of Wednesday, go to Sunday school, then go to Sunday church, and then they have they Passover and revival nights and all this
Hmm.
shit. They locking people in the doors of the church, got the kids up all hours of the night. Like, bro, no, look, bro, don't get me started, dog. No, fuck that. I'm already started. Look,
Do your thing, man.
look, this shit. It has and then when something happens in the church, look, I'm gonna just go ahead and just give y'all one of
Yeah.
my little life experiences real quick with the
Yeah.
church. When I went to this church out in Grand Prairie, the
Hmm.
pastor of the church, he ended up getting with a 14-year-old child. Everybody in the church, including my mom, my parents, and my aunt and uncle knew about the
Hmm.
shit and helped covered it up. Ever since I got older and I realized this shit be happening in the churches for real. You got
Mm.
pastors who don't know how to leave children alone. You got
Mm.
adults that'll cover it up because to save the embarrassment of the church, this, that, and the third. A lot of shit go on in these churches that be compromising people and compromising their beliefs. Y'all, look, man, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The church was never meant to be what it is now today. All this, y'all see all these mega churches. Y'all see how Drewski just did a skit. I'm so glad you brought this up
Yeah.
because Drewski
Yeah.
just did a skit
Yeah.
showing y'all exactly how the fuck these mega churches be acting. And now
There you go.
all the mega church pastors got their pennies in a bunch because Drewski done put them on Front Street. These and it ain't just the mega churches, it's smaller churches too that do this shit.
Hmm.
You got motherfuckers who really think you got people who really think that they just because they in this position that ain't even really a position of any type of power of authority, you only get
Hmm.
what is given to you by the people. It's the
Right.
fact that the congregation give you this power and this authority that makes you feel like you are who you think you are, but you're not. I just seen so much shit from these churches, these pastors, these preachers. Hell, I grew up in a freaking Baptist household. My dad was a pastor and a preacher. I'm a church kid, so y'all know we terrible as fuck. Um, I'm gonna be real, man. The church ain't done no type of good for people. I remember back when I was little, the church used to
Hmm.
actually help people with their bills and stuff. If you needed help with your light bill, you could go to the church and the church would pay your light bill for you. If you needed help with anything, the church would help you. Now it's not like that. It's gimme, 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 and all I got for you is a prayer and a baptism and some very
Hmm.
uh linguistic words in the form of a song that is shouting, hooping, and hollering.
Mm.
The church was never meant to be
a house of entertainment. It was supposed to be a modern day version of a mystery school. And what a
Mm,
mystery school is, it's a place where we were back in ancient Kemet or Egypt, whatever you like to call it. I prefer Kemet, but I know people know it as Egypt. Back in Egypt or Kemet, they had these things called mystery schools. They were basically spiritual colleges where people went to go
mm,
raise their vibration and to center themselves and to,
mm,
basically learn more about themselves, give themselves time to understand thyself so they can walk in thyself.
mm.
That's what the church is not anymore. The
I
church is
like
not a
that.
place of a mystery school. It has been replaced as a house of entertainment. These preachers, but all they do is they up there for the collection plate. That's it.
Mm,
I don't care what nobody say. They up there for a collect. Now it ain't all
that,
preachers that are like that. I will admit
mm,
that. Not all are like that, but a huge majority of these motherfuckers, they all they care about is a collection plate. Why do you think that
mm,
pastor was over there? They talking about, well, I got 1,700. Oh, that ain't enough. That ain't good. I asked for two. I asked for 2,000.
mm,
Look here, man. Like who who are this is why I say when this is why I stepped away from church, bro, because people really don't know who they pray to, they don't know who they following, and they don't know what they reading. It's
mm,
all ignorant, masked under a blessing. It's not even bliss. They mask it under a blessing. And then somebody said it earlier, where how you get used to forgiving people who do you wrong, and then they push you in this loop, this cycle of constant forgiveness and belittling of yourself. Yeah, you're
mm.
talking to somebody who been there, done that, lived
What's
that.
going on,
That's
Chuck?
why. That's why I'm an asshole now.
Mm,
Like real talk. That's why I don't
I
give
like
a
that.
fuck now because it's fuck you, fuck your mama, fuck your daddy, fuck everybody about you. Hell, fuck the motherfucking ancestral bloodline you crawled out of.
Mm,
Like I
mm,
don't care to be motherfucking. I don't care to be all holy or earthed out. I never was and never will be.
mm.
That ain't my thing, and
No.
that's another thing. We got family members who are holy or art thou, like they didn't do any type of sins or they own, and yet they stick their nose, they point their finger at
Mm,
other family members as if they better, which causes
mm,
divide amongst the family through the generations. Because you got grandma over here covering up for uncle, and uncle been over here touching on motherfuckers for a
Stop
mighty
chill.
long time. No, fuck that.
But
We
you're
need to
right
deal
though.
with
You're
these. We
right
need
though.
to deal with these
Okay,
problems
so
in our
You're absolutely
family,
right.
bro. We need to deal with this shit because that's the problem. That's the whole reason why we got mental health issues to begin with now. Is because people in
Hmm.
our family don't want to deal with the family drama. They
Cook,
sweep it
cook,
under the rug too goddamn much. I know y'all
cook.
motherfuckers have seen all these Tyler Perry movies. Hell, he made movies about this shit religiously. This is how he make his
Mm,
money off of our trauma. So in
mm.
order to stop people from pimping our trauma out, we need to start dealing with the trauma
I
head
like
on.
that. I like that.
We ain't just getting pimped by the church. We're getting pimped by all these motherfuckers who are in collusion with the church. Where did you find Tyler Perry at? Motherfucking Tyler in TD Jakes church. Why the fuck is
Yep.
Tyler Perry a fucking billionaire at TD Jakes church? Who was also a millionaire? Come on, man. Y'all gotta follow the money. The money talk bullshit walk 1,000 miles. Even Kurt Franklin himself got on a fucking podcast with that one comedian Kev on stage. They got up there, they talking about some when they going through trials and tribulations, they don't even know if God really on their side or not. This how I know
Mm,
you motherfuckers really don't know what the fuck you believe in. Y'all just believe in what's convenient because you don't want your family to disown you or anything. I've been disowned by my family. I've been disowned by them niggas. I've been re-owned by them niggas. I have walked the walk of shame all that whole ass shit, all because I chose to step away from something that did not serve me anymore. I
mm,
mean, God honest truth, I'm more a Christian than a Christian.
mm,
I just don't like identify as something that I know that hell nigga, I don't live by that shit. And do I hold all them commandments near and dear to my heart? No.
mm.
I do believe thou shalt kill. I'm sorry, thou shalt unalive. I believe that shit. If you do something to me, motherfucker, if you take my son, then nigga, I'm taking something from you too, goddamn it.
Mm,
I believe an eye for an eye. And I don't give a
mm,
fuck if the whole world go blind. You shouldn't be using your two physical eyes to see through this world anyway. You're supposed to be using your third eye. But anyway, that's your first eye, your third eye. Anyway, but yeah, this religious system has been flipped upside down. And at first, it wasn't even a religious system; it was a spiritual practice that our ancestors did over here. Hoodoo, all that stuff was involved. If y'all
mm,
notice that as this religion got more heavier and heavier throughout the centuries, our grandmas, great grandmas, they started hiding the hoodoo even more that they was practicing
mm.
because being classified as a witch was real. Y'all think the witch trials stopped in the freaking 1800s to Massachusetts and shit? No, they still was doing that shit across the South. Why you think so many practitioners live out in the country by themselves? I'm in the country. I stay not too far away from a hoodoo practice, from a practitioner.
Mm,
Like this religious shit has gotten way out of fucking hand, and I'm sick of it.
mm.
I'm
I'm
tired of
glad
it,
you
bro.
were.
I'm gonna be
I'm
real.
glad you. I'm
I'm.
glad you was able to
I
come
know.
up here and cook on
I'm.
it a little bit. Wait, let me stop you right there
Go ahead,
and
stop me.
just acknowledge how you were able to open up that avenue. And I want to get back to that, but I also want to open up the panel right alongside you, just in case somebody wanted to maybe respond to something you may have said or anything, or maybe add to it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to let y'all know the panel is open. Jay, go ahead.
I just want to say real quick, if I could, that we have to
Mm,
understand that, when we say the church, once again, we have to change our understanding of what that is. And then we have
mhm,
to also understand that it's not necessarily the church, it's the people who are in these establishments. And so we can't, part of that healing is not walking around, in my opinion, just, with, it's almost like holding a grudge when you say the church, because now you're implicating a mass group of people when
I
it
like
might have
that.
really
I like
been,
that.
one person or
Yeah, I like
whoever
that.
he went through that joint with. So it, to a degree, that in my what that sound like to me is that there's still some healing that needs to be done in your
Mm,
life,
mm.
you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
And so I just want to put that out there.
I like
Whoever's
that. I
still
like that.
dealing with that, they have to take a deeper look and deeper dive into that, and
I like that.
really address that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, once again, the church is not a physical establishment. Scripture
Mm-hmm.
says it's in the book, right? And so we have to
That's a good
understand
point,
that
brother. I
there's
like that.
people. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just unfortunate, and I feel bad for people who might have been under some tutelage or leadership of an individual who just
Mm-hmm.
wanted clout and money, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
those same individuals, scripture says that they, long story short, are going to reap what they sow, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's going to be 100-fold because they were trusted souls unto them. Okay, so scripture speaks of retribution and punishment for individuals who do these things. So we can't downplay the whole book. We can't downplay the quote unquote the church because, like I said, once again, we have in church right now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we just it's all about the unlearning of certain things because these theologian how you say it? Theologian classes and stuff like that.
You
They're
heard it
taught by the
right,
same
theologians.
theologian. Okay, yeah, these are taught by the same people that are running these 501c3s. And that has this entire system of subjugation over us. So we already know once they get their hands on something, it always gets tainted. So we have to keep that in mind as well. Anything that they're in proximity of that we've always started always becomes rotten. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that we just have to now that we see what the issue is. All right, establish a new church, establish a new, what I'm saying, understanding of what a church is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's an
Mm-hmm.
intricate part of our culture. was church.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that us talking, not only talking about it, but as if just to eradicate it altogether, is speaking of, it's like eradicating hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like eradicating a piece of our culture. So
Mm-hmm.
just like we're reclaiming hip hop, let's reclaim what the black church is.
Mm.
Let's reclaim
I
that.
I like that. And with
So
that, wait, did you land, brother?
oh yeah, yeah, for the most part,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay, because I didn't want to cut you off.
No, but
I'm about to ask this question.
Question.
What you got something to say? Cool.
I
Go
was
for it.
they said something to
my
overstudy. I
my
want to
question
answer. Oh, my
my
fault.
question is what is the black church? Is it a building or is it the body?
Well,
And
I
that's
see,
was
what
about
Bill
to ask
kind of
a
was
similar
hitting on.
question
let me,
too.
Yeah.
right,
I was about
but
to
see,
ask
peep
that similar
this.
question too. I was about to say,
Go
what
ahead,
is the
Bill.
community
Uh,
without the black church?
right. So listen, we're
Well,
the
you know,
only.
when you're
First of
when
all,
you're
we're the
following
only
inside the
person
book,
that. Well, wait, what happened? Oh, my fault.
I was gonna say if you're going
Go ahead.
by what the word says, the word says that the church is within I and thou, and so it's not a
Mm.
building. It's a communion and community,
Yeah.
and it's how you have church. You can have church at home.
Mm,
You can have church outside. You can have church at the park. So the church is not a building. The building just
Mm.
helps to
mhm,
house you
Mm.
know, to house the people in a place that is safe for us to actually worship.
Mm.
And when you're thinking about
I like that.
church, that isn't contingent upon one specific theology or one specific religion. It's
Mm-hmm.
contingent upon your understanding and connection to spirituality
Mm-hmm.
and community through spirituality. Because a lot of our people who were practicing hoodoo, it was dangerous to practice hoodoo. They would
Mm-hmm.
literally barbarize people for it. So there were a lot of black people who identified under the guise of Christians, but were actually hoodoo practitioners.
Mm.
And that's a very deep history of our people, because those folks that the 90K that they say were brought here on the ships, those people were not Christians. Those
Mm-hmm.
people were polytheistic people. You had a few of them who were Muslim and a very, very small percentage of them who were Christian. The indigenous population, are the people that we descend from, who were the indigenous population. Those people were not Christians. Those people were polytheistic people. And so hoodoo being, coming from the guise of a polytheistic lens, if we're talking about theology, this is why I believe that irregardless if you have a Black American who's a Muslim, or a Black American who's a hoodoo practitioner, or a Black American who's a Buddhist or a Taoist or a
Mm-hmm.
Taoist or a Christian or whatever, we're able to collectively come to common understanding, because spirituality is not controlled by religion. Spirituality is controlled by character, morality, and
Mm-hmm.
ethics, and we
I agree
have
with that.
those things are integral in our culture. Our culture is moral, ethic,
Mm-hmm.
and very deeply rooted in spiritual
Yeah.
character and moral
Mm-hmm.
character. And so you can have Black Americans who come from different spiritual demographics
Yeah.
or
I
theological
like that.
demographics and meet in the middle, because
Mm-hmm.
we meet in the middle on the morality,
Mm.
and hence proving the point that the building has nothing to do with it. It's
Yeah.
the body of it's the body that makes up the spiritual body that makes up the actual church.
Mm-hmm. I like that, Ish. I like that.
can I jump
Uncle
back?
Tom, Bill,
My
go
bad.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything,
because I
brother.
was gonna, because yeah, I was gonna say something before Ish said, and that's perfect. Exactly what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah, the
let's
body. Go ahead, cook.
yep, let's make this reclamation right now that the
Mm-hmm.
church is no longer going to be considered the body, because we know it could be hijacked, right? We're decentralizing the ideology of what the church is and what it really means. So this is part of this delineation movement. I say,
I
yeah,
like
let's
that.
push that. Let's let it be known that we're reclaiming and we're letting it be known what church really is. Now, my second thing, really quick,
Mm-hmm.
is just like they have crime, then they threw this whole label black crime, right?
Mm.
Black on black on. It's just church, and then there's black church. What's the white church? You don't hear this
You
term,
know what? I
right?
like that.
You feel
Yeah.
me? And
Yeah, I
so we
like
have
that.
to understand that All this has been
Yeah.
weaponized so that when they throw this title out there, our mind immediately goes to this
Mm,
negativity. It's all been controlled. They created the name. We never, I never really seen ourselves call ourselves Black Church. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Until like you read it in like history books or certain and all those other things. At the end of the day, that was home. That was whatever name it was. That was such and such as church per se.
Hmm.
Whoever was running it.
I feel like it became a thing when, like you said, that government thing got involved, man.
Yeah. So they weaponized it so that we will start thinking negatively because that's a central and intricate part of us healing, strategizing, etc. Like I said, once again, this is church right here. This is what they don't want. But see, what we have to
Hmm.
understand is that decentralizing things is very much essential now for this delineation movement, which is why we don't
Mm,
have a leader. We ain't gonna have physical establishments. We're not gonna have physical leaders. And so we have to understand that from moving forward,
I like
everything
that.
must be decentralized. All right, this
I
one.
like that. And you definitely added context to the conversation.
Can I
Damn, that was good.
can I add it? Or can I add to it?
Go
Because
ahead.
somebody in the comments was speaking on how people read the Bible out of context. And so when he's saying that we have to centralize what the church is, and like Ishmael said, like there are Black Americans that have completely different spiritual practices. So if we're gonna change what the church is, we're all gonna come together based on morality, which I really agree and I believe with that. Where are we going to be teaching the information from? Because the church is still a place to learn. That's the reason why they open up the Bible and they read scriptures. I'm gonna let you know right now, if you read me a scripture, I'm leaving.
Can I
If
say something?
information that you have to give me comes from the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, I'm shutting
Mm,
down completely. I don't want to hear anything that comes out of your mouth after that.
mm.
And I'm not the only person that feels like that. So, how are we going to get everybody on the same page when
I
everybody
like
has a
that.
different belief system?
But see, I believe that's where Ishmael was cooking and saying like we have to that's where we meet in the middle, kind of like with everybody in their differences. Uh am I right, Ishmael?
Yeah. Oh, can I? I'm about to say, can I
Oh,
go
go
after
ahead,
her?
Bill. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I don't know if Ishmael wanted to say because you did ask her, so I'll go after if she has
No,
something. Okay.
Ishmael, you
Uh,
got something you want to throw up in there?
all right. I could
Yeah,
jump
she
in
might
real
be
quick.
busy. I know she was at work,
So
so
there was this basic morals, right?
yeah.
Don't steal from me. Don't kill me if I didn't do anything, right?
Basic morals,
Don't
yeah.
mess with my wife or husband. You know what I
Right.
mean? Don't
The shit that every
and
human should just
yes,
know.
right. And so like
Sorry
even
about
that
that,
is
guys.
in
I'm
oh,
Oh,
mhm.
oh you good, Ish?
Okay, nah, sorry. Even that is in scripture as well. Now, what the sister's saying, because she hinted on as far as leading with scripture, you're right.
Yeah,
I never use that as a tactic. I believe that it's important to meet people where they're
thank you,
at. So, what
Queen.
does that mean? Being a relatable individual, listening, and trying to understand where a person may be at. Offering, I said whatever sound advice is at the moment, and if
Yeah,
so, aligning that with some sort of if that's the person's mo, aligning it with scripture so it makes sense. But I think leading with some sort of unifier, meaning let's get down to and get relatable, just chopping it up about whatever it is you're going through first, and then getting some sort of understanding there. And then if you so choose to do, there's some scripture and certain things that you can add to that. But yeah, sometimes it could be a turn off leading forward with scripture. And
hmm,
so I do get that. But like I said, I don't think we should, toss out the entire book because it is a lot of history that could be verified when it comes to us, particularly tied to that book. And yes, it has been, tampered with. Of course, we know that, right? Just like our history books have been tampered with. But what did we do? We dug
hmm,
deeper. We researched. We ate the meat and spit out the bones, and we trimmed the fat. And we must
hmm.
approach that the same way when it comes to scripture and
Oh,
it comes to that book.
I
Mm,
agree. I agree with that. And that's what I got from what she said was,
mm-hmm.
you know, if your first initiative is to weaponize scripture against someone, then you've already failed. You've already lost the plot, right?
Yep.
Because the whole purpose of scripture is not to demonize or dehumanize. The purpose of scripture is to empower. And so if you're using it to demonize people or to judge people, you know, judge not lest ye be judged, and so on and so forth. It's very it's very spiritually manipulative to do that to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
simply off of the basis because you have surpassed a particular ailment or a particular choice or whatever that you feel that that person may have not. And it really is, it's like what our grandmothers and our grandfathers used to say when they say, you know, you never know how much someone had to go through to
Mm-hmm.
get where they are today, or you don't look like what you've been through. That's like the major one. You have no idea how much and how deep it takes a person simply just to wake up and breathe in the morning, and go about their day. That takes a lot of effort for a lot of our people. And so when we get to this point, yeah, I didn't demonize voodoo. I'm not sure where that came from. That was weird because I'm very much respect. I think you misunderstood what I said. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I just read that in the comment, brother Overstudy. I think you just definitely
I
misunderstood what
read
I
it
said.
too.
But no, I'm not demonizing hoodoo. I actually have a very profound respect for hoodoo and
Yeah.
incorporate hoodoo practices into my own spirituality. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
demonize hoodoo. I'm not sure where that came from. But my point is I agree with Uncle Tom's niece when she said
Mm-hmm.
that if your first initiative is to tout scripture to me, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what you feel that, you know, instead of getting to know me or getting to
Yeah.
know my story or getting to
Mm-hmm.
know where I'm coming from or really understanding me as a human being, as a Black person, in terms of um, you know, how I've had to maneuver, whether that be spiritually or whether that be otherwise. It's
Mm-hmm.
destructive to do that, and this is where we come to the point of the Black church and why people have issues with the Black church is because the
Mm-hmm.
Black church has become, it wasn't always, but it has become a place where judgment has roams free, and
Mm-hmm.
people are not actually willing to to understand where people are coming from. You're supposed to
Right.
welcome people as they are, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, the whole "come as you are" or "come as you
Mm-hmm.
as best as you can." And
Mm-hmm.
everybody isn't on the same level or isn't
Yeah.
in the same place. It's not a race. It's not a competition. It's just a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are further. I'm sure that there are things that I could learn from Uncle Tom's niece about hoodoo,
Mm-hmm.
about tarot, about different things, about
I
divination and
like
different things
that.
like that, that
Yeah, I
I may
like
not
that.
necessarily know or may not be well versed in,
That's
that
cooking.
could contribute to my spiritual journey, right? I'm sure that there are things that I could learn from Brother Coolwater about his experiences in the church, or Brother Billboard about his experiences in the church, that I may not necessarily know. I grew up Muslim. I was an NOI kid, right? So there may be things even in that that I may be able to learn from another. You know, I don't practice Muslim, or excuse me, I don't practice
Mm-hmm.
Islam today, but
Mm-hmm.
I was a very devout practicing Muslim in my earlier youth, and so there
Mm-hmm.
may be things that I may have forgotten or things that I may not necessarily understand fully that I can learn from other Muslims, etc. And so the point is that Black spirituality is unique in the sense that you can extrapolate different uh, 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 qualifying things spiritually from different areas. You can extrapolate those things, and people who do that, they call them omnitheists. An omnitheist is a person who will take spiritual practices from a moral ground, from an ethic ground, from from different religious theologies, and apply them specifically to their spiritual practices. And
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, you have a lot of Black Americans, you have a lot of people, but we're talking specifically about our people who will do this, who will extrapolate certain things like fasting, for example. That is
Mm-hmm.
something that you see in multiple different religions, multiple
Mm-hmm.
different spiritual faiths, not just Hoodoo, not just Islam,
Mm-hmm.
not just we have some of our people who practice Judaism, some of our people who practice Christianity, but fasting is something that you see in all of these religions, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of these theologies, all of these ideologies, and the way that it is practiced looks differently depending on the theology. So
Mm-hmm.
my point is to say that I agree that when first you have to understand who that person is. And if you're using spiritual practices to demonize or dehumanize people because someone practices hoodoo and I may practice Buddhism or whatever, uh, that doesn't give me a right to denounce or to try to detach from them. I could learn from them. That's an opportunity to actually learn from them or an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to teach them, however way it may go. So
Mm-hmm.
my point is to say that I feel that when it comes to the Black church, as Brother Billboard said, it isn't an issue of the generalization that the Black church has just simply failed people. I think it's more complex than that. It's an issue of we have people operating within the Black church that have tainted the
Mm-hmm.
Black church, and we need to remove those people so that
Mm-hmm.
we can reestablish, an actual working function that
Mm-hmm.
is palpable for all of our people, however that looks like. And that can include practices from hoodoo, that can include practices from
Yeah,
other
it don't have to be
theologies, religions,
exclusive.
and thought ways.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Agreed.
I
So,
before you came back, Uncle Tom Niece made the comment about how it can become very alienating. Go ahead, Uncle Tom Niece.
I
I
agree
mean,
with her.
When you
yeah.
done,
So,
Uncle Tom Niece, we gonna get welcome brother KO and Chuck to the panel.
because I understand what y'all saying when you can get good things and bad things from any type of spirituality or religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm noticing that all of the good things that you can get from any religion are really just common sense. Like somebody spoke on earlier. Don't lie to me. Don't steal from
Yeah,
me. Don't kill me. Don't, you know what I'm
being
saying? Don't
moral, the moral
over my
ethics,
head.
the basic moral ethics. Yep.
So now that we got that out the way, so we know that it's common sense. Treat me how you
Mm-hmm.
want to be treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else can we get from any of these books that aren't controlling or dehumanizing, so even just call, like I said, it, it can be alienating because, like I said, if I feel like what you have to say to me is fueled by a scripture, now I don't even want to absorb what you have to say to me, even if it might be a message that I want, even if it
Mm-hmm.
might be a message that could
So
help me, that would
let me
help me.
jump it. Let me just
If
jump in there real quick. That when I'm listening to everybody and we go through the different responses of the people on the panel, I get I look at my notes that I have been writing and just gathering, and the what I'm really getting is that when it comes to mental health in our community, it needs to be removed completely from being in the church at all. It should not be expected to even be, you know what I'm saying? It should just be a complete disconnect when it comes to mental health and, where you praise, if that make
May
any
I, may
sense.
I, may I speak on that? I don't
Go
want to
ahead, brother
cut
KO.
nobody
You
off.
you you were next. Go ahead, brother KO. You fine. Go do your
Okay,
thing.
let me explain something to y'all,
Let me
right?
Uh-huh.
get in after him.
Go ahead.
Okay, what's
Go
up,
ahead,
cool?
KO.
No, check this out, right?
Uh-huh.
So when they were beating us and treating us as less than human beings, there was no such thing as mental health.
Mm,
Now all of a sudden that the rug community, I hope
mm,
y'all know what I'm saying,
yes.
the rug community has overcame them. Matter of fact, it overcame them in the 80s with the CRACK. They were the ones, if you look it up statistically, they were the ones that actually suffered from this more so than our communities, but we got blamed for it.
Mm.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on.
Your thing. Brother Cool?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in a bad area sometime too. I may drop out. I
You
just
good.
wanted to elaborate. Yeah, I wanted to elaborate on what the young lady was talking about with common
Yes,
sense,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
I believe that the church and the religious sector was designed to disconnect us from God more than connect us to God. And I say this to say this, right?
Mm,
But I think the common sense is God's sense, right? Because
mm,
before I became a spiritual or gave my life to Christ, as they would say, we all know we have experienced, and we would say something like this: something told me not to do that. Well, that something is the common sense of God talking to you. But to get you to buy into the Christianity or any spiritual thing, they had to disconnect you from God's common sense and have you buy into,
it's okay, Ish.
you have to
Sorry, brother.
believe this. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, you have to buy into this belief system when God already
Mm,
gave you the system of common sense, which is God's sense, right? So now it's being revamped that you got to now believe in this book or this ideology in order to even get to God. Some have even said you can't even get to God unless you go talk to a dude in the closet. Some have said there's no way to God unless you go to Jesus. Some have said you can only practice being a Muslim and that's the true religion. Well, I say this: God, I came from God. He said he knew me before I was in my mother's womb. So
mm,
everything that he is, I am. So if I'm
mm,
thinking like God, then I don't need a Bible. I don't need a person to teach me. I just need to follow my inner God to know how I need to move in life. And that's what I've tapped into. The God that's
mm,
in me is the God that I need to be following. I get the same spiritual insight that the church tried to tell me came from the Holy Ghost, who I
mm.
found out later is just my ancestors and others who guide us through this thing. So
There you go.
it's been a great separation through religion of separating people from God and connecting them through another door to get to God that's already been in you since birth. And I just wanted to
Mm,
add that to it. Thanks,
you
brother.
good. Come on up, BX, while we got a moment. I just want to say shout out to everybody that's been tapping in, man. Uh, this show is going different ways, man. It's been revamped. We got about a good 45 minutes of good conversation. I want to make sure I get BX up here to elaborate. I can't see your name at the bottom. I think it's Rella. I don't know. But
Yes, this is
um
Rilla. How you doing? What's up,
yeah, Rella. How
everyone?
you what's
Hey,
going on?
hey.
We
Bro,
just doing
make
a
sure
little
everybody's
cooking.
sharing the room too.
Yeah,
Y'all
make
share
sure
the
everybody's
room
sharing the
and
room,
everything.
tap
Tap
the
the screen.
screen,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
your thing. Show some love, man. BX, I seen you enter the room. I would love for you to come up. There you go. I got you. What's your name at the bottom? Rella?
Yes, Rilla. Hey.
Got you. You right after Brother Chuck. Brother Chuck, uh, go ahead, cook a little bit, Rella, and we're gonna get to
You can
BX.
go ahead and skip me. I'm gonna come back around because I'm
You
still
sure?
taking notes on everything.
You good to your thing. Rella, go ahead.
No, so I had just came in because I definitely saw,
Hmm.
I saw my sis Ish up in here. The sunflowers are definitely representing for the descendants. Spirituality is not it's not a condemnation.
Hmm.
Your rituals or what you study is not supposed to be utilized for condemnation. The practices of Christianity is a choice based on how descendants were brought up in the Negro
Hmm.
community. If you understand historical record, and then I also
Hmm.
mentioned in the comments, people who do not understand the constitutional law or treaties
Hmm.
don't understand how religious practices were also a part of the development of those things.
Hmm.
Those are historical records. And so
Hmm.
people who don't have a belief system, that is a belief system. That's why they're called atheists. And they
Oh.
have a position where
Hmm.
they fight against religious rituals that they don't subscribe to.
Hmm.
My thing is, it is not a hard stop for you, I think, as a descendant to disengage in your sovereignty, whether you are, no matter where you position yourself as your family lineage. I think people
Hmm.
utilize their engagement in religion or disengagement in religion as a weapon to make an excuse as to why they do not know how to capture power and authority. So they
Hmm.
turn around and utilize that as well. If you start talking about scripture, I'm offended. Well, I'm offended if you actually do not actually recognize that you have a spiritual presence where you are in living flesh.
Hmm.
And that once you pass on, whether you believe in any type of religious practice, that somewhere your spirit is going to go. But that's your business, and it's my business to make sure that my salvation and where I stand and how I was raised in my Negro family and how the things that were passed down as traditional cultures I
Yes, ma'am.
maintain, because those are the practices that I grew up with from
Yes,
birth.
ma'am.
Saying
I
that you
get
have a
that.
God presence and then using biblical scriptures or certain sayings out of the Bible, whether it's King James, New Living
Right.
Translation, or whichever you are using, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to create something new, I'm going to say this: do what you do. Your salvation is up to you. But as we are
Mm.
talking about how we're going to operate as a collective,
There
I
you
believe
go.
that you need to learn law. I believe that you need to understand how to work as a collective and put other things to the side if it does not pertain to you. If you do not know how to capture power and why it is that you understand 435 seats are up in the House and 33 Senate
Mm.
seats are up, and you literally don't know your position and where you should be, or if you should be running, or if you should be in a collective population when it comes to talking about Black majority states. Somebody said
Mm-hmm.
mental health was not a thing back in back in the past 1865. It most
Mm.
certainly actually was. They used to actually
Mm.
have asylums that they tried to put people in if they deterred from certain ideologies. If you
Cook.
don't know that history, you're going to say stuff that makes no sense to people who maybe are a little
Cook.
further along. And I think that's what Ish was trying to say. It is
Yes.
not a condemnation if you don't know something. I think it's a detriment if
Mm-hmm.
we are collectively uninformed constantly year after year. I think our generation, the
That's beautiful.
generation before mine, and the children that are coming up after me,
Mm.
literally are changing the game when it comes to
Yes.
what it looks like in their spiritual life, their
Mm-hmm.
physical social life, and where they want to be economically. We have to be able to merge those things together to our
Mm.
makeup right now and what's happening when it comes to our need for repair, our
Yes,
need
ma'am.
for power, and our need for authority.
Yes,
State
ma'am.
power is another form that rivals federal power. And if you do not
Mm.
understand that, you will be lost and you will be still worried about
Mm.
whether or not someone is a Christian, a Buddhist, or
Yes,
a
ma'am.
Muslim, or whatever else. So my
I.
salvation is not a detriment
Mm-hmm.
to you, but I will say that if I'm speaking from a spiritual standpoint, I'm concerned about your salvation, but it is not a deterrent for me not to work for you, work with you.
Mm.
You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? You want to be an
Yes.
atheist, that's your business. Just make sure that when we talking about business, power, and authority, and working to get our just due, that's where we keeping it at. And I'm not trying to
Mm.
convert you. That's all I got.
Nah, respect that. Rella, can you please make sure you tap into the Porties live? I like that cooking. I like that cooking right there, especially when you hit on a little history about the mental health, and that was nice. I That was nice. Well, I want to move on to BX, but BX, while you were coming up, I want to ask another question to the panel, and we can start with you since you just came on up. And I want to say, can we really, can we FBA Soulaan people as a lineage truly heal from depression while still living in financial stress, housing instability, or just constant racial problems and where we located, whatever? Like, can we really truly heal from depression with all that going on? BX,
Hi.
what's going on, BX?
Oh Lord, my spirituality stays working. Spirituality gets
Yeah.
me through certain things, and my spirituality allows me to name myself the gatekeeper, right? So I just
There you
block
go.
the annoying people, block them, and then it reveals their truth. Why my discernment didn't like them anyway? The thing you call a gut instinct
That's
was all
good. That's
that
good.
jealousy, hating, and all of that.
Hmm.
So to the veteran TikTokers, right, who will
Hmm.
be around me, they'll let you know 9 times. I'm gonna say 8 times out of 10. I'm not braggadocious. I'm
I
always
love you,
right about
BX.
something. But anyway, thank you. Yes, Aquarius. So I want to say thank you for the birthday weekend love that y'all gave me.
Oh, for sure, BX.
I'm literally on this app to be the voice of the ancestors because the pay isn't that great. And what I mean by that is because it was my birthday weekend, I've been on this app 3 years. I started on the spiritual side of TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and wound up in the Pan African room, and this is the
Mm.
result of that journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this past birthday was the most money that I would have cleared from TikTok.
What?
Yes,
That's what's up. That's what's up.
yes,
I'm proud of
yes.
that. We definitely was a part of that. Shout out to
Y'all
the Porties
definitely
squad
showed
over
out for
here.
my
We
birthday.
made sure we showed out, man.
Yeah,
Stop. We definitely showed out. Shout out to BX. You be holding it
thank
down for the
you.
lineage. For sure,
Um,
for sure.
that's all I want to say about spirituality because everybody's
Mm-hmm.
spirituality is their own and they have to tailor it and
Mm-hmm.
craft it and nurture it according to themselves. And if they
Yes, ma'am.
belong to a spiritual house, a church, or whatever, their congregation helps them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna leave it there. Their spirituality is
Yes,
their
ma'am.
own. As far as mental health, I grew up with baby boomers. There was no
Oh,
depression for them. There was no
yeah.
I'm depressed, get over it. It's like, that's white people shit. What the fuck you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be stronger than that.
Yeah.
You know, that's wasn't only my parents, but that was my godmother, that was my
Mm.
auntie, that was my uncles. So I grew up in a time where mental health and mental health therapy was seen as white tea people shit.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Today, I'm a bit more tolerant. I
Mm-hmm.
encourage people going to talk therapy. I encourage people to go
Yeah.
into therapy with people who look like them. But now I got to emphasize of the lineage because I know we're out there. My best friend is a therapist, and that's why I'm so well put together because I wasn't always this beautiful mess you see today.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't have to pay for therapy. Medication is also up to the parent or the person's
Mm-hmm.
discretion. I
Yes,
personally
ma'am.
found that taking natural herbs, making teas, drinking the tinctures have really removed a lot. Like I had cholesterol for years.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me pills. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I started, my son kept saying, stop taking them people pills and started buying me all these herbs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know that I tested today? I don't have no cholesterol. Now, I'm not telling y'all
Wow.
my journey going to be your journey. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying it's okay to go to therapy. And if you want to take medication, that's between you, your provider,
Mm-hmm.
and you can also look into herbal medicines, which is root work, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have options, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say to the prompt today.
I yeah, yeah, open panel. How can we truly heal from depression while living with all of this housing instability, financial stress, racial targeting? I could keep going. How can we truly heal from depression? Open panel.
I think Chuck wanted to go first, so we can let Chuck go first.
Oh, Chuck, you ready? You ready, Chuck?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I ain't overlooking you, brother. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. It's all good. I did take a little bit of notes. I wanted to touch on
Yes, sir.
some stuff about what we was talking about earlier.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Uh, so like religion to me, you know, like the programming of religion in America, how
Mm-hmm.
like they mixed good and bad things together. You
Mm-hmm.
know, still using the logic of two truths and a lie. I think that is something we've been able to overcome, and we pick apart books and stuff to
Yeah.
be able to do that. Us being a moral people, we can see that there is good in the things that they try to push on us. Spirituality. I think FBAJ was saying this. He said
Mm-hmm.
something about somebody. I know I heard somebody say like multiple theologies all mixed together, and how
Mm-hmm.
we take. BX just said too that we basically personalize our spirituality. You know, so a lot of different things can mesh together to create something beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, religion is like a discipline in order to connect to a source, or connect to a spirituality. Um, As far as the mental health, uh, one thing growing up that I thought I would never need was anger management. Now I've been through some stuff, and anger I thought wasn't a problem for me, but after going through a couple of anger management classes and being able to become emotionally intelligent afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that something is affecting me and being able to communicate why it's affected me,
Mm-hmm.
and having that realization. I think those are definitely, mental health is a good thing. Having a therapist um is a great thing. Being
Yes,
able
sir.
to clear up what's really eating at you, you know what I mean? So depression also, if we look at how these new rappers are presented in the media as far as
Mm-hmm.
depression, they pretty much promote, like, they promote
That's a
toxic.
good point.
It's almost like
That's a
they
good point.
promote toxicity to us, and then a lot of the youth is so impressionable that they latch onto this because of the stuff that they go through, being in these situations that we got in our hoods and in
Mm-hmm.
our towns and cities and stuff. And these urban environments, they connect with that because it's almost personal for them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, targeting our youth has been their main objective forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that we should take it serious as far as that,
Yes,
because
sir.
it really does start with the kids.
They do.
I'll even point to myself. Me growing up, I was raised in the hood, and things got chaotic, and my parents decided to move me out. So I grew up in the suburbs for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But moving back, it was like a culture shock because
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't around, growing up, I wasn't really around a lot of black people like that until I moved back. So for me, that being the culture shock, it made me have a sense of, urgency, that I wanted to change what was going on around me.
Yes. Mm.
So I feel like opening up, giving and showing people opportunities as far as having access to mental health, uh, a place of spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
um, and these different things is really a great idea. As
Mm-hmm.
far as a solution, I want to look for a solution. Like, how do we get corruption out of the churches?
Mm.
Get more how do we get more people to seek mental health instead of going to drug?
Look at Rilla
Like,
comment.
these different things are, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
important. So that's pretty much what I wanted to
Yeah.
talk on.
I, uh,
Nah,
I can agree with you. No, do your thing, Bill. I just wanted to agree with Chuck, and yeah, you made some good points, brother. Go ahead, Bill.
yeah, he made some good points. I want to touch on one of the points he made. This is a direct correlation with
Mm-hmm.
that music as far as it being so pill popping type music. Like hip hop.
The new rap music type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
just right. Like remember, like it just that sort of style just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was like super duper heavily pushed. It was never a part of the hip hop style at all.
Mm-hmm.
Pill popping, like maybe weed or whatever, maybe whatever. Well, selling hard. You know what I'm saying? But the
Mm-hmm.
pill popping per se, particularly, was super duper pushed as at a point and still is. And like you say, it creates that relatability. Why? Because there's an influx of a lot of these young kids, especially being put on these Ritalin, all of these different, ADHD drugs,
Glad you
DRs,
brought
and
that
stuff
up.
like that. And
Yeah.
so they're weaponizing that. And they're
Yeah.
getting them hooked at a very, very early age. It's like they're literally creating junkies at a very early age. And so people actually be tripping, like, why are these young dudes wilding out right now? And it's like, seriously, there's an influx of them, of a young population on pills. And we
Let
just,
me ask you this, Bill.
mhm,
It's not a question. I just want to ask. I just thought about it.
yeah.
Is there a such thing as manufactured depression?
That's
Yeah.
it. Yes,
Everybody
exactly.
Yeah, I woke this panel up. Everybody want to say, yeah, what's up? Yeah,
You said I woke this panel up.
yeah, walking right on up. Nah,
most
nah, nah.
definitely, most
We gonna
definitely.
let Bill. We gonna let Bill, and then Rella, and then God's Uncle Tom's niece. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely manufactured
Yeah, hit
through
on that.
environment,
Hmm.
through what it is you eat, through the medical field, all of that,
I
through
like that.
music, right? Because like I said, even then the music is super depressive and is always talking about some sort of pill pop and stuff. Like the music is
Hmm.
super different. Even down to the sound, I wish Sister Ish could come up here to even break that down
The
even
vibration. Yeah, you know she a hit on it. Where's
exactly.
she at?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Word. So yeah, it's definitely manufactured and it's multi-layered.
I'll drop for Ish. Sorry to cut you off, and I'll be in
you
the
you
chat
Oh,
for a
it's
little
okay,
while. But
Bia.
you know, I
I'm
got
you
to move
fine.
around.
Bia. It's
Yeah,
okay,
do your
Bia.
Huh?
thing. Do your
I've been
thing,
One
here the
Bill.
moment. One moment.
longest.
Go
I'll
ahead,
drop
Nu.
off. No,
Go
I
ahead,
was
Nu.
I've been here the longest, so I'm gonna drop off because I got some stuff to take care of.
Appreciate
But
that, Eros.
No,
That's
I'm gonna
respect, man.
drop too.
And I followed you, Euros. You got to start coming on the panel a little more often, brother.
yeah, for sure. I just seen you just now for some reason. Something's wrong with my TikTok. Like my algorithm be acting up.
Yeah, you good. Just pop back up, man. We be having some good prompts. I know you a hit on.
Thank you so much.
Rella, you want to do a little cooking on that
Yeah,
uh
I love that.
manufacturer?
I definitely I agree with Bill because
Yeah.
again, music is again another connection in how we connect with
Mm-hmm.
with the universe and how we connect with the world with each other, right? Vibrations,
Mm-hmm.
electromagnetic connections. And so, neurons and protons and all of those scientifical terms that change depending on what's happening. Music has
Mm-hmm.
actually been studied to be noted that it is a form of healing.
Mm.
So if it can be a form of healing, that means it connects to your cells. If
Yep.
you are in a neurological situation where you've had a stroke or you've gone through some sort of
Mm.
brain trauma or you've been in an accident, if you put on the right type of music at the
Mm.
right frequency. There are people who are in the science community and they talk about frequency and how it can heal you and harm you. So if
Yeah.
it can
Yeah.
heal you and it opens up all of your chakras and it can get to you that way, I would assume that,
Mm-hmm.
the people who are in power have recognized that there are also frequencies that they can change your metaphysical body
Mm.
using music or by getting people who I think I saw someone in comments talk about Juice World. There was a gentleman.
Yeah, I seen that. Yep,
Um,
the comment.
there's other artists as well, and we can attest to it too because
Yeah.
R&B, blues, rhythm and blues, right?
Mm.
That literally just the term in itself and how all of those things came about, that lets you know that came from people who had experienced life and they were putting it through music, and that's why we could also we could um
Experience that same feeling, or
we could
maybe.
relate to it,
Yeah, I
and
like
we can
that. Yeah.
relate to it all the way down to the cells in our body, not
Yeah, I
just
like
the
that.
beats, so that tells
Mm-hmm.
us something, right? We are those people. That's why when I listen to music from other nations, there's some disconnect there because I don't recognize those tones. My
Mm-hmm.
body is not in tune with some of those beats. And
Yeah.
so I'm searching for the soul in things because there is a connection that keeps me grounded with the understanding of history, the understanding of wanting to discover and want to know more about myself and my
Mm.
people here. That music does do that for you, but you also have to realize that people can use tone waves
Mm.
and they can use their voice. They can use again the way that they're dealing with you, how they touch you, right?
Mm.
That
Mm-hmm.
could also turn into a way like somebody can touch you without physically touching you. Someone can
Mm.
physically touch you and touch you, right? And so we
Mm-hmm.
got to think about even those things. Yes, transfer of energy. Yes. And so when we talk about like how people experience depression and even the transfer of spirits, this is why
Yeah.
when you hear people say, "Oh, you gotta be careful who you let in your house. You gotta be this,
No,
that."
seriously, even on this app, you have to be careful. People,
Yes,
that's
and what you
real.
listen to. Yes,
Yeah.
because that can send you if you're already in a space where, and this is where I can understand what Uncle T was saying,
Mm-hmm.
if you're coming from a space um from a spiritual standpoint and you want to bring in Christianity per se or any other religion and she doesn't subscribe to that, her connection her and God just brought that on me. Her connection and her love language and her frequency is not that. So we'd have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how do we connect on a frequency that she understands so that we can move together kinetically. And that is the piece where I think maybe if we get down to the formulation of what could actually allow us to come together enough to have the conversation like this right now, your space, to
Mm-hmm.
me is a kinetic connection. And
Wow.
we are in different spiritual places. I can tell that, right? We are all are not in the same, we probably don't practice the same religion
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, but that's okay because we can still have the conversation. And the
Mm-hmm.
space is giving us the ability to have and find a way to communicate because
Mm-hmm.
religion is not the again, it's not the I think the core point. And to cure depression or any other mental illness, I think we're going to have to find that kinetic connection. And I
Mm-hmm.
do agree with BX. Definitely, I encourage people to seek therapy, get into sit on somebody's couch, have couch time with somebody that you feel safe with, that you
Yeah.
are developing that ability to be vulnerable with, and they're
Mm-hmm.
going to cover you and protect you. Covering is truly, truly something that we need to master when it comes to each other.
Mm. I like that.
Hmm.
I like that. I like that. Anybody else? I
Um,
like that. Oh, I asked about depression being manufactured. Remember? But
I remember. It definitely it's been manufactured even since before the new hip hop. You got to go
okay.
all the way back to the black exploitation films.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Depicting our men and depicting our men treating us like garbage and pimping us out and calling us out of our name. Depicting our women as hypersexual, like we're just some sexual beasts that just can never be could never even be what's the word respected as a woman
Mm,
who is more modest and submissive,
mm,
so whereas like some of those black exploitation films like Foxy Brown, where
mm,
they could be kind of empowering, is also off-putting. You know what I'm saying? On top
okay.
of the manufactured in the church. Like I said, the difference between the black church and the white church is astronomical.
Mm,
Where, the black church teaches us to love our suffering, to accept our suffering, to live through
mm,
our suffering because we're going to have heaven when we die. You
mm.
know, um, all the way, he said the pill popping music it's not really that new though, because what year did sipping on some sister sipping on some sipping on some sister um
You
real talk,
clowning
like we've been listening to very damaging music for a long
a
time.
long time.
Not the media. I wouldn't like my first job, I'm not proud of it, but my first job I was a stripper.
Mm,
I went to McDonald's first. I went to Chick-fil-A. I went to Popeyes. I went to the mall looking for a job. I wouldn't even thought to go to a strip club if the Players Club would have never came out. Like all the way until T-Pain came out with the song "I'm in Love with a Stripper." The only references to stripping that I had ever been subjected to was the Players Club. So and then like Friday, I didn't even think about wanting to smoke no weed until Friday. When Friday came out, I said, "Oh, I want to see head. I want to see Big Worm head in the cookie jar."
mm.
you know, you got to
Those are
think about it.
bullshit.
Hey, like I like a lot of the stuff that we are introduced to is introduced to us through the media.
Mm,
Like it's a girl from my city that made it on the show Baddies. Now I don't even have Zeus Network, so I don't. But I'm talking about Facebook celebrated this young lady so big, like it was just this huge accomplishment to make it to
mm,
a show where they're literally fighting each other and whoring each other out every episode. Like, why would that be an accomplishment?
mm.
And I'll let somebody else jump in.
That's cooking. That's cooking. Anybody else got something to say about
I was gonna
manufactured
say
depression? Do your thing, brother.
all right, so the well, getting off, I was getting off of depression because, well, not really getting off of it, but I wanted to speak on something that
The
she had
depression
said.
question I had. Oh,
No, I just wanted to speak on something that she had said about,
oh, go ahead.
us being, us being subjected to stuff, and like basically it was put in front of us, and that gave us the idea of it. And I had said, and I just said in the comments, like, that's the reason why they took our possession of radio stations. They wanted to control
The messaging.
the messaging, and then they
Good
push
point,
out
brother.
what they want us to believe.
Damn,
And
Chuck,
once
that's
they and
cooking.
once they push out what they want us to believe, and that's all we got to absorb, from years of not seeing ourselves in sitcoms anymore, not seeing now we only seeing ourselves in these roles. And for a lot of people who aren't consciously aware of this, they absorb it. They absorb it and then they emulate it. So
Hmm.
it's like
But we
it's a
don't fight back though,
perpetual.
too, Chuck.
Say again.
We're
What's
not
going on,
fighting.
KO?
We're not fighting back against it too. I think that's the other piece that's missing.
Wait, hold on, real. I can't really hear you. Say that one more time. You be cooking. We gotta hear
No, I
you.
said to Chuck's point, Chuck is on fire. We're not.
Okay,
We're
yeah,
not. We're not fighting back against it. So
yeah.
what did that
He
say
cooking.
to when you asked about the the depression? So have we become so numb and desensitized that these things are
Hmm.
happening, and that we're not changing course. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like we're
May
not
I
changing.
answer that question? May I answer that, please? Please, may I answer that?
Brother, brother KO, do your thing, man. The panel open, man.
Okay, check this out. Check this out. Hey,
Yes, sir.
baby girl, what you just said, let me tell you something. When you look at when they were spraying us down with water hoses and sicking dogs on us, people were in their Sunday's best.
Yes, Taylor, I
It
agree.
ain't about appearances. It has nothing to do with that. They hate us for being us, period. It don't matter how you look, how you dress, none of that. They hate us.
Hmm.
I just want to put that out there, and I'm gonna let the sister go. I ain't want to
No,
interrupt.
no, because I interrupted Chuck, so I apologize. And I'm saying, even though you have people who are going to always be on the attack because
Hmm.
they do not like light, right? So when
Mm.
you have a group of people who all you do is display light in creation, and you can connect with nature, and you can reproduce and do things healthy, what are you going to do? Give them something that they can emulate to try to make better, because it seems like we always try to, they give us shit and we can turn it into something else, right? We turn it into
Mm.
gold. If we were to manufacture shit, if I can say that, sorry, um they would buy it because we
Hmm.
made it popular. My point to what Chuck was saying was, even if we're always going to be in the position of always being under attack, what is our reverse course to fight
Yes.
depression, to fight the fact that
And
they
so
took the
that's
sitcoms off,
good.
like
That's
with
good.
Robert Townsend and the family, all of the shows that were about family and that were about unity and us building community and things like that, and also higher learning, which was, that to me, another form of God sense. Why don't we reverse course? And that's all I wanted to add with what
Now,
I was saying.
now that's perfect because we getting out of here soon in about 30 minutes. And that I'm gonna reshape my question, and instead of asking the panel, can a person, I'm gonna ask, how can we heal as a community from depression and other things while living in constant financial stress? The stuff we see going on in our community. I don't have to name it. How can we start to heal from that? And we'll close out with this segment. And I'll start up here at the top with Brother Fuego.
I so was hoping that you was going to start at the bottom.
Yeah, I knew you was.
um, I feel as though um, the counter to it, like Chuck was saying, what is
Yeah,
the counter
like
to
Chuck.
it?
Yep.
I believe that the counter is really starting at talking. At
Mm,
finally having the conversation by going into therapy. If you don't want a therapist, you can do counseling sessions. But or just talking to someone within your sphere of connection that you feel as though that you can be comfortable with. The start is by all of us beginning to have these conversations that causes
mm,
us to be depressed. You know what I mean? The financial hardships, we need to start having that conversation about those financial hardships. And then, like I said before, implication and application. How once we have these conversations around finance, how are we
mm,
applying these strategies to bring us out of financial hardships? Then in regards to depression, like just literally just having the conversation about what it is
yeah.
depressing you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of times we see barriers as reasons to turn away, but barriers are only there to stop you from progressing. So if you want to progress, if we all want to progress, like we've been saying, then those barriers we have to either break through them or hurdle them or what have you. But I believe it definitely starts number one, communication, and then from the communication, whatever tidbits you get,
Mm,
apply those tools to help you out. And I'll land there.
mm. That's good. I received that. Brother Ko,
I want to
how can
address
we
out.
do your thing? Do your thing.
No. I wanted to hear more what you said, but when it comes to healing in our community, look,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell my honest to God truth.
Do your thing.
I am one of those bad black stereotypes, right?
I
I'm
don't
a
think so.
I'm a I'm a real member. I'm a real member. I done been blammed up 3 times. I got felony charges. I'm one of those, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I was also able to see the world because I had talent. And what I
Okay.
know is this: some of the worst of us have the greatest talent, and they don't have the wherewithal to understand who they actually are. So one of my things is I try to bring them into understanding who they actually are.
Mm,
So I love people like Brother Fuego. You know what I'm saying? I love people like you, Porties, who brings
mm.
understanding to people like me. Because,
That's real,
like I
brother.
said, I'm that bad black stereotype. You know what I'm saying?
I love you back, man. I love
And
you back, man.
when it comes down to it, I love you, man. When it
Y'all know
comes
he,
down
y'all know
to
he in
it,
the sugar cane.
this is oh y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah. You
We can
back,
hear
you
you
back,
now.
you good.
Can y'all hear me? Okay,
Yep.
my bad, y'all. Y'all know. But no, when it comes down to this thing right here, I want y'all to know this. Just teach our kids
Mm,
actual history. Teach them. Let them read that on their own. Break it down to them. Sit down with them.
mm,
Once they start understanding that, they're going to understand the world that they live in
mm,
because everything under the sun has already happened before.
mm.
I'm gonna land my plane right there. My baby, she off today because we got the hard freeze in Louisiana. That cold front coming through.
Yeah. Uh, Uncle Tom's niece. on healing in our community, and yeah.
I don't know because I was in and out of therapy from the age of 3,
Hmm.
and talking to people from my personal experience never helped me. Whether it was a
Hmm.
group setting or a one-on-one setting,
Try to give
what
the
did
people
help me,
listening
what I do
something.
heal
There you go.
with.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm an animal lover.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Say
like,
less.
I know I told y'all that when I'm at work and stuff, I work at a pet store.
Hmm.
I think like this is the healthiest my mind has been in my life.
That's
Working at this
beautiful.
pet store, I've
That's
never
good.
had a job longer. I've never had an actual job longer than 60 days, but my 1 year anniversary with my job will be on March 1st.
Oh, clap that up! Clap that up! Clap that
We
up! Come on,
proud of you.
Porties, clap that up!
I'm finding it, Fuego. I'm finding it.
Clap that
There you
up!
go. Bam.
I can honestly
Good
say,
job, sis. Congratulations. You know
Hey,
we proud
shout
of
out
you.
to
Stop
Uncle
playing. Come
Tom.
on, one
Come
more.
on. Shout out to you, big sis.
hey,
What's up, sis? I'm proud of
I
you.
have
I'm
not.
smiling hard as hell. I'm smiling hard as hell.
I can honestly say, since weed is legal in the state of Ohio, I have
Mhm.
not broken the law in over a year and a
Look
half.
at you. Look at
I'm
you.
through with these accomplishments. Just keep going.
Look at you on
Come
the
on now.
Monday. On the
And
Monday.
listen, and
Sis
one of
right
the
there, God.
reasons why is because growing up, oh, I don't let the dog in the house, and now the dog allowed in the house. The dog can't get on the furniture, and black
Okay.
people don't have all them different animals. Man, I
Mm,
love animals. My dog sleep under the cover with me every
mm,
night. I got a
okay.
bearded dragon. I'm making a fresh salad for her right now. And when
Okay.
I go to
Okay.
work, we have a pet pig and a parrot. The parrot be singing to me. If you my friend on here, you follow
So
me.
animals really your comfort zone.
Yeah, you might want to think about
That's
getting
what's
a
up.
veterinary assistant.
That's
I
some
wanted
real
to do
shit.
that, but my felony is drug charges, so I'm not allowed to do that.
Oh. No, seriously though, like
Don't
I got
worry,
5
don't worry.
Rottweilers.
I'm a old felon too. Jesus went to jail. So fuck what they talking
I
about,
mean,
Jared.
right now I've been looking for different like a higher because right now like working at the pet store that's minimum
Yeah.
wage, so I do
Mm,
need something better with my life, but
mm,
Yeah, I was about to
I
say
can't be a
continue
vet
on.
or work in a vet office, so that's really not on the
mm,
table. But I am gonna look into grooming and
okay.
conservation.
If
I
you
Say
really
can
do
less.
want.
do Uncle Tom's niece, if you can try to get into something that is called have a technician behind your name, if you do decide to do grooming, you can actually teach people how to groom and get paid for it under the WIOA grant. I'm gonna send
Yep.
you some information. I tried to
I
Let
follow
got
me
I
you
see
back.
know
real
I got
quick.
a
I just
friend that owned a clinic like that
Yeah,
Rella.
I will
Mm-hmm.
send I will send you the video, but I would definitely love
Yes,
to walk
Taylor.
you on your journey because having a felony
That's
is
real.
not a reason for you not to be able to live a
Give it
decent
up for the
life.
sisters. Let's give it up
And
for the
I just want to
sisters.
say I'm so proud of you. I'm very, very proud of
thank
you.
you.
See, Uncle Tom needs like that's what these spaces for, y'all. Like, y'all know I'm already I'm a little soft with the emotions, but shit, like that's love. I love that. Like, man, it's always somebody listening somewhere, man. You just gotta be honest and open up. Man, damn, there y'all go.
I'm gonna say it, but you're not gonna like it.
Hmm.
Because that's what real God covering looks like.
There you go. There you
I
go.
never said I was an atheist. I believe in a
No,
higher
I didn't.
power.
I'm not calling you an atheist. I'm not calling you an atheist. I was just
Good
putting out
job.
there. I put earlier when I was saying it. There are people who are atheists, right?
Yeah,
But I don't know
but
what
that's
you are.
a belief in it. That's still
It's
a
a belief
belief
in it, and
system in itself.
it is,
Yeah, I
yes.
heard you
And
say
so,
that. Yeah.
whatever you decide to define yourself as,
Yeah.
you are still going through your process. And I'm gonna just land it quickly so you can finish. Healing is not a. It's a lifelong thing. I
Yeah.
put it like that. I'm gonna just land it right
I'm
there.
gonna
Healing
say
is a
this. I'm gonna
lifelong
say
thing.
this.
Hold on, Kev. Hold on,
Healing.
Kev. Hold on. Hold on, Kev. Hold on. We close. We everybody got to do their thing. 1 second, brother. Uncle Tom needs go ahead. Land your deal thing.
I mean, shit. like I said, healing for me personally, everybody's not an animal lover, but I am. So
Hmm.
my healing has been working with animals, and I really would appreciate it if somebody does have a different avenue I can take for me to be able
That's
to
what's up.
further my education and make my bag bigger while still following the laws of the United States of America.
Hmm.
That'd be great. But I've been talking a lot, so we gonna let my Shira say what she got
You
to
good.
say.
I want you to know you always stop playing. You day one up here. Uncle Tom needs your opinion is always welcome up here. Before Miss Taylor go, I just want to say shout out to everybody that's been tuned in, man. We got a lot of reworking going on over here. Before we close out today, I want to announce the new book. I need everybody to kind of get up on and try to have done by next Monday. You know what I'm saying? I also will be tuning in every day to give y'all about 2, 3 chapters. You know what I'm saying? So just stay with us, man. It's all about growth over here, and we only about the lineage over here. None of that extra shit. Just tap in if you want to be FBA Soulaan. You feel me? If you are, rather, not want to be. With that, we go on to Miss Taylor. You want to close out with some healing? How can we heal in our community from a lot of the stuff going on around us? I mean, with a lot of the stuff.
Okay. I came up here because I just wanted to tell Uncle Tom something, but I am going to touch
Oh
on your
yeah, go do
question.
your thing. Do your thing.
So, Uncle Tom, it's this girl that's in Ohio, and she did Fed time for like writing checks and scamming
I
and
love you, Taylor.
stuff like that, right? Why she come out, she started her own grooming company, her own credit company, her own business financial company. So it doesn't stop because you have a felony, and I can get you in tune with her because when I say she don't
That's
play, she
lit.
does not play. Okay, and she for us. So
Well, I'm in Ohio, so link that.
yes, I
I'm ready
am.
to go right
Yes,
now.
I love y'all, man. That's lit right there.
and as far as us healing, I feel like
Hmm.
sometimes we gotta go within to change ourselves in order to
Yes,
see
ma'am.
the changes outside of us. Like I feel
Hmm.
like so much stuff is supernatural and we make it complex when all we gotta do is go within to see it on the without. That's all I really got to say.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Well, when it comes to supernatural things, the word itself is explanatory. Supernatural is ultra natural. It's so natural. It's the most natural element of us. It's
Mm-hmm.
that
Ooh,
spark
I like
inside
that.
of us. It's that
I
light that's
like that.
Yep.
Okay.
so when
I'm
Alignment.
gonna have to
Okay.
use that
Wait.
actually.
Hold
I'm
on,
gonna have
panel.
to
One
use
second.
that.
So this goes to really kind of like what I've been hearing, like really almost like everybody be like, the God is in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
it
yeah, man.
is.
The
I
God
feel
is
like
in you.
everybody has their own
Mm-hmm.
interpretation of saying it, but that's pretty much the bottom line. Like,
Yes,
God
sir.
is us
Why do you
The
think
within
God
God
is
us.
is in
in
you?
you. It's in you. We carry the
Why you
Yep.
spirit.
why
Hey,
you
Chuck,
think they
Chuck,
always
chill,
showing us
chill,
supernatural?
Chuck. He done dropped Mary in the comments.
Why do you think they show us on
It's
TV
the God
supernatural
in
being
me.
something that's not
Dog, you
natural?
gotta talk.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep.
my
If you
bad, dog.
notice that
Don't
they show us supernatural being
I'm
something
about
that's
to
not
go put that
naturally
on as soon as
attainable.
we get off.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Chuck
I'm
got
about to
me
put it
fucked up,
on.
dog.
It's on rotation, Chuck.
My bad, dog. I just
But if y'all notice, anytime they depict something supernatural in the media, it's always
uh,
something that's not naturally attainable. You know,
Uh-huh.
yes.
when you think about supernatural, you think about somebody waving a wand and sparks of fire flying out. You think
Mm-hmm.
about supernatural.
Uh,
Honestly, like they're because they don't want us to go back to our supernatural roots.
Yeah.
If
Oh, I
we
was just
believe
about to
that
say
being
that.
supernatural,
whew.
if we believe that
Wait,
being
wait, wait.
supernatural is
Before we move,
unattainable,
wait. Before we move to Chuck and ask him about healing, kind of cook on that just a little bit. What would happen if we get back in tune with that part of ourselves fully?
shit, we got the power, we got the energy. That's why the written word is
Ooh,
called
baby.
spelling. Manifestation is
Ooh,
real.
baby. Uh-huh.
Manifestation is real. So that's
It
why they
is.
always
It is.
pick supernatural as something that's not naturally attainable. They pick
That's right.
supernatural as being able to fly over. They
Mm-hmm.
pick, they choose supernatural as some X-Men mutation type
Yep.
You're
bullshit.
right. You're
When in
right.
all actuality, it's the deepest in the root and the seed that sparks us.
Yep.
That supernatural happened when the sperm penetrated the egg.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
was supernatural
I'm
right
putting
there.
this into my notes. This is going to be a little
That it was
side.
supernatural when that
Yeah, this gonna
woman's
be
body
yeah.
incubated a speck that wasn't even big enough to see with the eyes into a full blown baby, and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
then got the
Mm-hmm.
closest to death that she will ever come in her life without dying by
Mm-hmm.
creating life, by bringing that life into the world. That's supernatural right there.
Mm.
Yep. And
And
then
I
I
also
like
our
that.
bloodline
I like
is
that.
supernatural because everything that we need, all we
There
gotta
you go,
do
Taylor.
is go within, like for instance, root work. We started that.
Mm-hmm.
We taught these people that manifestation. We showed them how to be manifestation. That's why hoodoo goes further than voodoo. Like y'all, I love spirituality. So
Mm.
hoodoo goes further than voodoo. And if y'all think about it, that's where people got writing on scrolls from because we started writing on scrolls.
Right. That's
Clock
why
it.
they always want to know what your
Mm,
blood type is.
mm.
That's why I
Hey,
don't ever answer the question. If they ever ask
hey,
you what your blood type is, don't answer the
right.
question. You need
Now,
to know what it is, but don't answer the question.
now I'm glad this has to be bigger than what time we have left. So I want y'all to tune in tomorrow for real. Cause I gotta hit on a lot more of this Uncle Tom's niece. I'm gonna need you to be up here to be my co-host for that conversation.
tomorrow my last off day for the week, y'all. So I
I
might not be
yeah,
able to join in Wednesday through Saturday, but I'll be here for the whole time, just like I was here the whole time today.
I appreciate that. And
Porter,
I know you're gonna hit on a lot of stuff.
before you go, where you at? You in LA, right?
No. Detroit.
You in Detroit. God, you
Yes,
look like
ma'am.
one of my cousins.
That's
Shit,
funny.
he's only
That's
5 minutes away from me.
that's
You look
funny.
like one of my cousins. Oh
But
my God.
we got to get Chuck. What you got to throw some healing in there. We need some healing. How can give us your opinion, brother?
I was just gonna say, hold on, let me look at my notes. Everybody got like everybody got like a role,
Yeah.
as far as spirituality being personal,
Hmm.
everyone has a role to play, so you just have to figure out what works best for you.
Hmm.
Healing is personal too. It's the
Hmm.
same thing. If I know I'm struggling with something, I gotta seek the help. If you don't seek the help, you ain't never gonna find it. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
A
Yes,
lot of the
sir.
time, it could be you going to a person. A lot of the time, it could be you going within yourself, or
Hmm.
having like an animal or something like that. It all it all basically ties together. That healing should be done. With I don't know where I'm going with this. I thought I was, but now getting
You
people
good,
on the
Um,
brother?
same. I think getting people on the same track, is definitely a healing thing for us.
Mm.
Um, and just I guess just I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Hey,
cooking right
may,
now. My
may,
bad.
may I
you
say
good,
two
brother?
things?
You good?
May I say two things, and I'm gonna land my plane real quick.
Go ahead,
Um,
Kim.
being around y'all, just hearing y'all voices,
Hmm.
it actually helps me so much. Y'all don't understand. I'm a real like antisocial person in real life. I
Hmm.
grew up an only child, but being around y'all is like being around a gang of just brothers and sisters.
That's real.
I
That's real.
love y'all so much, all
That's
of y'all.
real. That's real, Kim.
And my second thing is this: therapy don't work for nobody. You got to work for therapy.
No
You got
cap.
to
No
work for
cap.
therapy. You got to work
Hmm.
for it because you got to be
I
real
thought
with
you was going
yourself.
somewhere else with that, KO. I ain't gonna lie.
No,
Go ahead,
I was
brother.
about to be like, come on, KO.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth now.
Yes, sir.
I'm,
Yes, sir.
I'm telling the truth. No, I know this from personal experience.
Hmm.
Therapy don't work for nobody.
Yes,
You
sir.
got to work for therapy.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I just wrote that down in my notes, brother.
I thank y'all because I just want y'all to know this.
That's a word. That's a word. No cap.
All 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 of us, I want all of us to heal. And we got a lot of healing to do in our community
Yes,
because
sir.
they have intentionally tried to destroy us
Mm,
for centuries. And we have never
mm,
folded. We've never folded.
mm.
Understand that. And now look at what they going through. The fight is not with us, it's with them. All we got to do is lay back, chill out, rest, and get to connecting with each other like we do on this app. Do this with y'all cousins, y'all nieces, y'all nephews, your little sisters, your little brothers, you hear me? Man, go ahead, go out there and actually start speaking with people. Open up. It's difficult because a lot of us have been through so much, but just go and just open up to the family.
That's
And
real.
I'll land my plane right there.
Appreciate that word, KO. That was nice. And with that, we move on to our last, but not least, Rella, what you got for the people on healing in the community? Where can we start? That's what you got for us.
I think everybody definitely took a lot of the talking points, and I agree.
You know how I go, right?
Yes. I think for me, I
hmm
definitely KO said the last part. You gotta
Yeah, work for therapy.
you gotta work for that's the
I
word
like that. Yeah, that's a word for real. That's
for
a
real.
word.
Because to me in the comments, I just want to say you didn't come up
hmm
here, but I see you, Sunflower. I see you, and
Yeah,
your addition to the topic is spot on. Working
yeah.
out, therapeutic. Oh my
To
gosh.
me, to me, one of the day ones too. She
Yes,
be around.
releasing
Yeah.
those endorphins helps to release bad
hmm
energy and helps to get the body to start doing what it needs to do to heal. I think
hmm
we gotta connect with people who have gone a little further than we are so that we know how to do it. And I agree with KO on that. And I think Chuck said that too. You don't know how to heal if you haven't met someone who actually has the blueprint for you. And I think that's what testimonies are about. I can't give you a testimony if I haven't taken the step to work therapy, or if I haven't taken the step to seek support or help. And I think we gotta
Your
Hold on, KO.
testimony
Hold
is
on,
your
KO. Hold on, KO.
testimony.
Hold on. No, no, KO. Come on.
we gotta be
Decorum.
we gotta be honest. I think, and not joke about our mental health with each other.
Yeah.
I think acknowledging it, when you meet someone that you call your kinfolk and you know that they going through, learn what covering is. Learn
Mm.
how to. You might not be able to solve their issues, but
Yeah.
learn how to cover them and find supportive things that you can put around
Yeah.
them so that way you can start to develop the space for healing for other people and yourself. I think that is helpful. So seeking out our own, or seeking out that help to get the tools to start healing is so, I mean, that is so important. Cause I don't want to say that I'm healing and
Right.
I'm thinking I'm doing the work, but I really don't know what to do. Right. I,
Right.
I could be thinking I'm doing the right thing, but what if I'm not, and I haven't gone deep enough, that internal supernatural, deep dive to get to the core issues that maybe are out of place, you
Mm.
know? So
I like that.
yeah.
I like that. Ah. As we close, I have to say that this is one of the better shows I've had in quite some time, and I just appreciate everybody input. Appreciate everybody tapping the screen, everybody gifting, everybody just who support Porties, man. I that's love, and it's not unnoticed. I
Just
have
to
a lot
let
of
you,
things going. Wait, who's saying something? Uncle Tom, what you got to say?
sorry, because I'm sorry, I need to quick cut people up. Just to let y'all know, I do think of y'all as my internet cousins, and every time we get together, it's a family reunion.
That's love. But before we go, I gotta announce the next book, man. Now almost made me forget. And let me go get it because I got already pulled it out the bucket. I just gotta get the.
Y'all my cousins on my TikTok side.
Oh man, it's not working.
Uh,
Boom.
before you do that,
Do you think, Waco? I'm finding this index card with this
yeah.
damn book on it.
So to overstudy and to everyone in general, I had a conversation with Portuguese last night, and and he has his endeavor to really bring community to our people is paramount to him. And he's created this space for us to come in, collect, to actually have conversations that really are needed within our community. One of the things he has spoke about already is that he does want to start moving, adding these conversations, these lives to different platforms. He did say something about he has already created or he's creating his YouTube space, so you can also find him there eventually. I just say stay tuned in, keep coming over here to the live, and get the updates of what he's doing. We all are moving forward in 2026, and support is live here. And then once he does get his YouTube channel up and running, support the live over there or the recordings. That way you can go back and grab some of the information that has been presented by, not just himself, but the panelists as well. Do your thing, Porties, man. You doing it.
I really appreciate that, Brother Fuego. And I also want to add to anybody listening, if you have a book suggestion, just send it to me in my messages, man. I actually had, y'all wouldn't believe it, I had 24 books from suggestions, and I pulled one out the bucket. So this is the book we are starting today. Y'all ready for the title? Blood
Yeah.
at the Root.
Blood at the Root.
Blood at the
Okay.
Root is the book that came out the bucket. So we gonna start reading
Blood
Blood
at
at the Root.
blood at the root. Oh, I like that. That's deep,
I
man.
never read it either, so I'm
Ooh.
kind of like
This
a
is
little eager to get started.
one second. Let me make sure. I think so people can get the author as well.
Yeah, do your thing. We got 20 minutes. We kind of just BSing. Well, it ain't BSing, but
Are we doing the one by Ladarian Williams?
Well, when I got the suggestion, I didn't get it. Or I didn't have an author name with it. So, damn. Should we pick one now?
I'm just making sure because I think I just seen another Blood at the Root. It's a good novel. I've read it already, by the way.
Man, we knew you read it, man. We knew you read it, man.
It's definitely a good book, but
so because
it's
you
by
already read it.
Ladarian Williams.
All right, cool.
I want y'all to. I was looking on Google for it, and I know if I can't find it, y'all probably can't. But keep your eyes open. I was at a person's house one day, and they had a book on their table called "Where the White Man Came From," and it broke down shit even within the Bible, and it made so much sense to me. But this was
I should
back
put that in the list.
Yeah, I gotta find it, man. I can't find it.
I'll
I've
put
been
it in there.
Googling it. I read this book. It only took me like 2 hours to read it. I sat on this couch and
Thank
read
you,
the book.
Tamia. Thank you, Tamia.
And
I was literally just doing that. Appreciate you.
it was this was back in like 2009, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it came out sometime before then. I'm gonna look for it myself so I can see. But keep
Do
your
your
eyes
thing.
open for a book called "Where the White Man Came From," because it was very enlightening. It was.
White man came from. Write it down.
Now, I will also say there is another book called Blood at the Root.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to make sure I found that one. It's called Blood at the Root: A Racial Cleansing in America by Patrick Phillips. I'm not sure if that's the one they were suggesting. But the one by Ladarian Williams is a fiction one. This particular one is a nonfiction one written is a nonfiction book from 2016 by Patrick Phillips, investigating the 1912 racial conflict in Forsyth County, Georgia, the ensuing racial cleansing of the county and later development.
I am pretty sure that's the one, the latter one.
The latter one,
just based off of my lives being dedicated to our lineage, that was probably put in by someone. I don't remember. I got so many suggestions from people, but I'm sure whoever suggested it was suggesting it because of that. You feel me?
Right. That's why I want to clarify. Don't get me wrong, because Blood at the Root by Ladarian Thomas is actually a really good fiction novel. It is based off of our lineage, and
No
it
cap.
does.
Okay,
Listen, man. Yeah.
so
So both
either both of them applies to FBA Soulaan people, right?
correct.
Boom. So we're going to stick with Ladarian, and then I'll just put another blood of root if that's the case, because boom, it's just come on, let's just go with it. Um, Also, people, uh,
Also, that book is on Audible, by the way, by Ladarian
yeah,
Thomas.
that's what I was about to
Ladarian
say,
Williams.
brother.
Yeah.
Soul, where you at, man? I'm all closing out all raggedy. You feel me? My closeout is a little better, and I'm gonna just, yeah,
Also,
say,
we've already read Black AF History, the Pan African version of American
yeah,
history, the
yeah,
Tether Manual. If you haven't read it and you've seen it all over TikTok,
The tether manual.
man, it's the tether manual, KO.
so if you want to catch up from where we already have been, you can go read that book. We have discussed it. If after you read it, you want to come back and touch base with us on it, absolutely do that as well. Like I said, it's a Pan African and whitewashed version of American history by
You gonna be
Apostle
mad as
Haitian.
hell. You gonna be mad as hell reading that book.
But you know what I mean. So absolutely, that's where we have been, and where we're going now is to Blood at the Root by Ladarian Thomas. Just so y'all can stay track with us. I mean, Porties is doing big things over here. You know what I mean? Get tuned in, fam.
No cap, no cap. And in closing, y'all, I'm gonna just hit y'all with for FBA Soulaan people, mental health has been a survival issue, should I say, that has been shaped by our history. You know, once we can start digging in and having these spaces and targeting certain things that we need to overcome, you know, for lack of better words in the moment, you know, then the real healing can begin. Healing is personal and community. You know what I'm saying? It just fall under so many things, and I just want us to just always keep our lineage first. No matter what, man. When we really start taking our identity as FBA Soulaan people more serious, these conversations will be a breeze, man. Shout out to Bill for coming up, sharing personal information. Brian, Candace, we got Rella down there, Uncle Tom, KO, Fuego, of course, and Brother Soul. And with that, man, I'm tapping out. It's 11:50. I'm about to go get on Candace Line and kind of talk a little shit. I'll see y'all,
All
fam.
right,
Don't
big
forget
brother,
Chuck.
man.
Chuck was just up in here.
Oh yeah, Brother Chuck. Hey, hold on. I wrote something down for Chuck. Hold on, y'all. Don't leave. I wrote something down. Hold on, I wrote something down. Yeah, yeah. Chuck has the joke of the day. With Mary in the comments, brother, you did a little cooking with that one. I couldn't contain myself, man.
I'm about to go play it. It's the joke
All
of
right.
the day.
Y'all have a good day, man. Shout out to Chuck for the joke of the day, man. All right. Have a good one, y'all.
Y'all too.
Love y'all, family.